You're live.
All right, guys, welcome to the live well at Fish North Georgia this Thursday night. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Got a great show in store for you. We're going to talk some fall transition bass fishing. Got Ryan in the house, Kevin and Tim, and just going to have some good old talk. Got some announcements got to make at the beginning, but before we do anything, as always, let's thank our fine sponsors. And of course, we always start off with Trent Palmer over there at Sonar Pros. Guys, I always say it, the best in the business. Take it where the pros go, 770-530-4505. He's in his new location down in Cumming, and can't say enough about the guy. I mean, if you want it done right, that's the place to take it. By appointment only, so give him a call today. And then I don't know if you were watching Facebook today, but a lot of us were. Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing was on, and he was absolutely slaying them. He went live today on Facebook. In my opinion, one of the best guys, if not the best guy, don't let them there. If you want to get on some giant spotted bass, Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing is the way to go. You can check him out on Facebook or at www. Did I say that many W's? Did I say it right? 3 W's? www.lipstickerfishing. And, of course, Evolve Rod Sleeves, the best rod sleeve on the market. And everyone that buys one here at Fish North Georgia, they always come back saying the same thing. They just don't get any better than Evolve. So we got them right here at Fish North Georgia. Come check them out. And then the guys over at Festive Waters, if you're in the kayak or paddle sports game off Highway 369, Nathan and the guys will set you up. They're expanding for a new fishing section, and we're actually going to have a couple of their kayaks here at the shop, so you guys can come check them out here and even buy you one here. We're gonna kind of work a little deal out there with them guys. And of course, with all the money that you spend on your lures, the Money Saver Lure Retriever. To me, I'm telling you guys, this thing goes through the water like a bullet. So you definitely want to get your thing back. Whatever you're throwing, you're in the timber this year, send that joker down there, the Money Saver Lure Retriever. You'll get it back, I promise you. And then, of course, behind us, as always, you see the sign right there, Turner Tire. If you guys are up in the Jasper, Georgia area and you need an alignment, new tires for your car or vehicle, they're the ones to go to. Local, great family-owned business. We definitely support them. Give them a call at 706-253-3339 and tell them the guys at Fish North Georgia sent you. And, of course, if you're in the Dahlonega, Georgia area, you definitely want to go check out Etowah Mead Beer and Wine. You see it right here on the table. We love this stuff. It's some of the best stuff you can have put in your mouth, I'm telling you. And if you're in the Dahlonega area, they got a great bar, Thursday night trivia. Check them out. And if you're not in the area, go on their website because they can ship mead all across the country because it's classified as a wine. All right, guys, I'm going to put my glasses on here. A lot of you guys are here already, so appreciate you guys. And Danny looking like Harrison Ford tonight. Hell yeah. Look at that, baby. Dun, 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 dun. I wish I had Harrison's money, but got a couple announcements, and then I got something I want to say before we get into the talk. So make sure while we're doing all this, if you got questions or comments for any of us up here about the fall transition and what we're going to be fishing with and what to look for, have them ready because we're gonna answer these questions tonight. Hopefully right there. So a couple announcements. Now let's start off with the Toys for Tots tournament that the Big Sandy Bass Masters in Fish North Georgia are going to be putting together December 7th at Laurel Park. Okay, a lot of details are going to come out next week. All right, including where you're going to sign up at. You're going to pre-register at Buford Dam Bait and Tackle. So we're going to partner with them. That's where you're going to go. And I will tell you this, once the registration starts, your boat, what's it called? Your takeoff number. Is that the right thing there?
Blast off.
Your blast off. Listen, I'm from the electric only world. We Zoom. So your blast off number is going to be in the order of which you're paid. So all the details will be coming out. But listen, guys, it's for a great cause. We're going to try to make it a really big event. We're going to try to get vendors, food trucks. We're going to be broadcasting the weigh-in live, just like we did the TAA. We got a stage that's going to be set up. We're going to be like just a mini Bassmaster right there. And I'm actually going to be your MC for the day. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So look for details coming out. You going to fish it? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You're going to do that. So December 7th, boat draw. There you go. That's how we're going to do it. Now, also a couple announcements that I was asked to pass along. ABA 125 has their first tournament out of Alatoona for the year. It's on the 22nd. So if you're interested in fishing with the ABA, but on the 21st, excuse me. On the 22nd, that Sunday, Alex Pierce, they're going to do a benefit tournament for him. We mentioned him a couple weeks ago, going through some medical issues right now. Couple things about that. Number one, we want you to fish it because it is a benefit tournament. But also, it's a $60 entry fee. But if you are a middle school or high school team, your boat captain can actually fish that tournament with you. So look for more details coming out with that. And did I miss anything right there? I think I got it. I think I got it right there. All right. Now, this is I want to do this at the beginning of the episode, because I'm supposed to. And this is kind of off script. These guys don't even know that I'm doing this, but I'm going to issue 2 public apologies on behalf of myself personally and Fish, North Georgia. So I want you guys to kind of listen to this. Over the last 2 weeks, I have really, my eyes have been open to the breadth and the influence of this podcast. We had no idea. We get here on Tuesday and Thursdays. I think we're just Danny and the guys just talking to some buddies. But it has, my eyes have been open a little bit. And with that comes a little more responsibility. And so I'm going to take a little accountability on this, and which is, it's kind of different thinking this way, but given the last week and a half, you guys will kind of understand where I'm coming from. So what I've learned is what I say and do represents Fish North Georgia. It represents this podcast, and you guys in the you come in with your comments and all that, and you make this show what it is, and the guests do. It's not about me. And you guys, whether you realize it or not, we have people all over the United States that actually watch us, and some very important people. And that's what I've kind of learned. So my first apology is going to be a national apology, and then I got one that's local, a little more intimate kind of thing. But the first one is, last Monday, the NPFL put out their schedule. And I am really tight with some of the guys that fish the National Professional Fishing League. Your Will Harkins, your Robert Bleskey's. Trent Palmer is a sponsor of this show, and I think the world of him. So when I saw the schedule come out, I absolutely jumped on social media and blasted the NPFL. Not only on Fish North Georgia, but on every other page I could possibly find where the subject was being discussed. Later on that evening, I had a very, very good friend who kind of called me and said, "Can I be honest with you, Danny?" I said, "Absolutely, as always." And he told me that I was in the wrong. And the reason he said that was, he goes, "You don't realize what Fish North Georgia is." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're the conduit for the viewer, for the guest, for people on your social media pages to discuss everything, and we provide the platform. And when you speak out, it kind of diminishes Fish North Georgia. It's a bad mark on that." With the NPFL specifically, Brad Fuller got on Luke Duncan's podcast, and I haven't gone back and watched it. I'm getting this told secondhand. And basically, when Trent Palmer and this area came up, he was talking about that, and he said, and I'm going to kick his ass because he always gets her name wrong, but he said he was really disappointed with some of North Georgia Fishing's comments or something to that point. And so knowing that and talking with my buddy and all that, I sat back, and I guess my eyes were kind of open. We're actually an influencer here, and it blows my mind. And the things we say and do have an effect far beyond this store. So I immediately deleted everything I said. I got to feeling really terrible. I deleted it all, and I sent a message to Big Al, Paul Benson, and Brad Fuller, the president of the NPFL, and apologized for the lack of professionalism and what I had said. And I talked to all 3 of them this week. Talked to Big Al immediately that night. He's always contributing here on the show. And he was very forgiving and understood the emotions of the thing. Paul Benson came in my store, and I was able to look him in the eye and apologize again. And we had a very long talk. And then Brad Fuller called me and had a very, very long talk. And what I learned was each and every one of those guys said, "Danny, that could have been prevented if you'd have just gave us a phone call and we could have talked about it." And I didn't really understand that because I don't see us as being big enough where I can just pick up the phone and call the president of the NPFL and say, "Hey, I don't agree with what you're doing." Apparently, we have that ability. So, Brad told me, he goes, "From now on," he goes, "call me if you see anything that you don't like or anything that you think is off or suggestions and ideas." And I really respected him thinking enough of us to do that. And so, I felt really bad about that, but it opened my eyes a little bit. So I want to do my apology to the NPFL right now publicly so that everybody knows that. And it's kind of hard to swallow, eat crow a little bit, but I'm going to apologize to them for the way that I acted on behalf of Fish North Georgia. So don't want to do that. And so again, NPFL guys, Brad Fuller, Paul Benson, Big Al, I love you guys. Thank you for forgiving me and appreciate that we still got a solid relationship, but I want to apologize in front of God and everybody on that. Now, the second one is a little more, some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not, but this is with a local company here. And for the past, I would say 16 months, 17 months, it's quite well known that we don't have a very good relationship with some of the guys over on Lake Lanier for things that get said on this show or things we hear, whatever. We've been arguing a little bit behind the scenes, whatever. But I did not realize, again, this is with the breadth of figuring out how big we actually are, that we have the ability here to positively or negatively affect a local company. It's one thing to get mad at an individual, but you don't really consider the other people involved. And so I'm specifically tonight talking about Lanier Baits, Lanier Jim Fishing, and Jim Harmon. I'm not even going to go back and hash out why we were all arguing. A lot of he said, she said, whatever. But yesterday, for the first time in probably, I guess, 60 months, I actually talked to Jim on the phone. And while we may agree to disagree on some things, I had apologized to Corey, his son, on Messenger a couple months ago. And I thought that would be the end of it, at least with that, for my part in all of this. Well, after talking to him, he said, there's one thing that you don't understand, Danny, is you have a podcast and you can influence people, good or bad, and you can really hurt people, businesses, or, you can help them up or you can hurt them. Well, we have never thought here at Fish North Georgia that we wanted to ever bring anybody down. We've always wanted our followers and the people that follow us and that partake in the things we do to kind of lift everybody up. So I kind of went against our company creed, company code, or, what we think we should do. So I asked Jim, I said, what do you want me to do? And he said, well, you apologize privately, but you've never done it publicly. And that kind of hit home too. So even if I still disagree with him on some avenues, which I do, but I think the whole situation could have been avoided if two grown men would have picked up the phone call instead of doing the things the way we did. And for my part, throwing these little darts and arrows and little stick wounds out on our podcast, I didn't realize how it could affect the business, to be honest with you. So I'm going to sit right here right now, and I want to publicly apologize to Jim Harmon, to Lanier Baits, to is it LJ Fishing or what?
Lanier Jim.
Lanier Jim, hell, fishing. We always had a really good relationship with those guys up until a certain point. But I want to be clear that for our part and for here going out with this podcast, we're going to try to keep it positive, try to help lift people up, and not use it as a platform to air our personal differences and to, you never think about a business as there's families involved on the backside. And so, Jim, if we have hurt your business and all that, I, Danny Pruitt, on behalf of Fish North Georgia and myself personally, want to extend an apology to you guys and let everybody know, hey, you're a good company. The things you do, you do you. And so I'm sorry, dude. And just the lesson I've learned is both of those situations could have been handled if just grown men would have picked up the phone. And so I'm going to take responsibility for this side not doing that. And so it's kind of tough to get on here. It's my podcast. I can do whatever the hell I want, but it's really tough to get on here and say, you know what? I messed up. So there you go. And I would kind of, after this entire week of watching people fuss on social media, I would really kind of say that my eyes have been open to really how much damage you can do to people. And really, you affect people that you really don't know that are watching you. So that's me. And it's not meaning to be a Debbie Downer, but I got the platform, I got the viewers, and so I wanted to say that. So hopefully, I can tell you Lanier Baits is going to be a part of the Toys for Tots tournament coming up. They're going to be a vendor there. Lanier Baits is going to come back here to Fish North Georgia. I haven't been selling them for a while. So hopefully that relationship can be mended, and I encourage you guys, if there's anybody out there in your life that you kind of struggling with, get together. Grant, I don't know about a good man, but I'm not bad, but we all have our faults. So to the MPFL, to Lanier Baits, Lanier Jim Fishing, wish you guys the best. Going to follow all of you, root you on, and hopefully, what is that saying? The rising tide lifts all ships or something like that? That's some kind of Buddha saying. I figured you would know if anybody would know.
No.
Huh?
No.
Bullshit. You know that.
No.
But anyway, seriously. So there you go. I want the North Georgia community, if nothing else. I don't care if we ever grow any more nationally. I at least want the North Georgia community to respect us, and I want to be able to return and respect you guys and just kind of help you guys out. So, crow never tastes good Big of you, Danny. No, it's not big. I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, I shouldn't have to say this shit because I shouldn't have done it. Period. So, but anyway, all right. You
We're
ready?
all human.
Huh?
We're all human. We make mistakes. We own up to
So
them.
I knew freaking
We
Ron
move on.
Swinford would know. A rising tide floats all boats. So anyway, there you go. So let's talk about fishing now. But anyway, guys, that's a
Let's do
sincere apology. I'm not saying that just to blow smoke up your asses. You guys, I'm going to watch the NPFL. And if I see anything that I don't like, Brad Fuller, I'm calling you. All right. So I got your numbers. So anyway, let's talk fishing. Because I know y'all didn't know that was coming. The only person that knew I was going to say that was Tim. And I told him, I said, I need about 10 minutes at the beginning of the show to get that off my chest. So there you go. Now, let's talk fishing. Let's talk fishing. Fall's here. Football's here. It's cooling off. Other than we got a freaking hurricane going up through the Mississippi on the daggum weekend, I'm going to Gunnersville. But other than that, we got to start prepping. We got to start getting ready. Watched Underwood today. He was slaying them out there. And I got to thinking, well, that what he's doing, he was throwing his Seville. I'm sure he was throwing Southern Hook lures, but whatever he was throwing, will that still be in play in another month? He was throwing a little bit of a fluke. So Ryan, a lot of guys come in here to kind of get your take on it, and I'm gonna get Tim's and Kevin's take on it. But in your estimation, coming up next couple months, slate's getting ready to turn over. I heard it's already starting a little bit on the north end. What are we gonna do?
Well, the way I fish the fall is there's two schools of fish that I only worry about, and I don't give a damn about anything in between. And I'm looking for the fish that are mainly what I'm looking for is those first fish that really start moving to where they're supposed to go.
Where's that?
And where I say that is they're starting to move into the banks of the creeks. Okay, that's not popular anymore with all the forward-facing sonar stuff, but here before too long, that kind of pattern for about 6 to 8 weeks, it will beat forward-facing sonar more times than not if you find the right fish. It will. It will do it.
It will beat it.
It will beat it. It will
Okay.
beat it. If you find the right fish that are eating it, there's nothing forward-facing sonar can do about. And it's not all winter. It's not all fall long, but there's about a 6 to 8 week period, and it's about basically started now. It's actually already started a couple of weeks ago. It's actually really early, where there will be a group of fish that there's nothing forward-facing sonar can do, especially on these highland reservoirs.
Well, where the hell's the fish at?
Well, they're on the bank.
Okay, so we're shallow fishing.
They're on the bank, and they're hyper aggressive feeders, and it always happens that way. It probably have some people throw shade at it, but I really don't care because this is the time of the year where I probably want more money than any other time of the year.
Yes, this is your strength.
This and I keep it pretty cut, dry, simple, like bread, butter, and jelly. That's you basically 5 baits is all I basically throw, and I don't really throw about anything else. 2 of them, regardless of conditions, regardless of what's going on, I will keep 2 of them basically glued in my hand. And it's you got if you want to fall fish and you want to fish for big fish. Whether you fish shallow, whether you fish offshore, you're going to have to go ahead and kind of get in your mind that if you're a tournament fisherman, you're going to have to go ahead and say, I'm only going to get a handful of bites a day. Because anybody who fishes in the fall knows that when the turnover gets going and it really starts setting in, it gets pretty hard to find a bunch of fish to catch in a day. You don't catch as many. It's kind of hard to really pinpoint what exactly they're doing. They do different things. And, it's kind of really and truly, especially up here in North Georgia area, the fish kind of, they change their mind on what they're doing hour by hour. And that's really about the best way I can describe it is they change their mind hour by hour. But I'm really kind of going to just keep with reaction baits that are going to basically look like a good meal.
Hey, I don't want you to say your baits either because I want to see if we can guess them.
Okay.
You keep going, but don't say the baits unless you're getting to that point.
I'm getting close, but yes, you can. I mean, whatever you want to do.
I
It
want
don't
to
matter.
guess his baits because he said 5 baits. Now
Yeah,
you're a shallow water guy too, Kevin.
I don't think they've moved back yet. I think that to me the water temperature's got to be around 65 to 55, somewhere along there before they start moving up. They're going to come back in the creek, same as he's talking about. They're basically the old spawning grounds where they're going to hang out. They're going to look for hard cover, more than likely, laydowns, rock, brush.
Right?
And you're going to fall if you think about a big creek. They're going to be up to me towards the rivers, the main rivers that come in. That's where they're first going to go. The first bunch,
Right.
they're going to move up. I think they're going to look for the bigger creeks. And as you go to the back, I'm with Ryan. You go to the back because it narrows down. When you get that creek that's going into a narrow area, it's easier to keep your bait there because they're all in the back. So you can stay on top of them. If you do get some rain, and when fall comes, usually we're getting some cold rains too when fall moves in here. So you're going to have that influx of water coming in. That's going to affect them. It's either going to be very cold and move them out, or it's just going to dinge up the water a little bit and turn them on.
Right.
So, and he's got 5 baits.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if guys were guessing. And
no.
okay, so
no,
Eric
Ron
Richards
Swinford.
said crankbait, jig, rattle trap, worm, chatterbait. Let me give my guess. Let's see if we're right. Buzzbait or horny toad, one of the two.
That's one.
buzzbait.
Buzzbait, number 1. You'll have a jig at some point. Yes. Okay, so I'm 2 out of 5.
Yes.
All right. Shaky head.
No.
All right. You got any guesses back there, Tim? So I'm just trying to guess.
Spinnerbait.
Yes.
How the hell did I miss that? I should have known spinnerbait.
You know he's going to be slinging a blade.
Jerkbait.
Spinnerbait.
Yes.
Jerkbait. So we got one more. So we got a buzzbait, a jerkbait, a spinnerbait, a jig, one more, and we're talking shallow.
Wacky?
No, hell no. He don't throw no damn wacky. That's me.
Well, I would.
Out of spring.
You do a little bit. Square bill. No. Rock crawler. No, I ain't throwing a chatterbait.
Nope.
Are we okay?
Rattle trap?
I want to guess this. I fished with him. I don't know. I'm trying to think. No, we're shallow. I'm trying to think what you throw shallow.
Rattle trap?
I mean, are you gonna have like a underspin time bait?
Fluke?
A fluke?
You got close.
Like I said, I was gonna
You
say an
got close.
underspin.
A specific underspin. Yes.
You gonna throw a ditch digger already? No. Okay, so it is an underspin.
Quarter ounce underspin.
A quarter-ounce underspin. Okay,
ounce
quarter-ounce.
underspin.
Well, the toad Luke Turner. That's like, yeah, I figured. Now he will throw that from time to
I mean,
time.
that's going to be. I mean,
But
that's going to be
buzzbait.
hanging around.
It'll be hanging. But I know you throw a buzzbait because that's what you
But-
got the big and on Hartwell the other day.
But there's a common thing though with every single one of those baits.
Now
And
what
they-
is it?
they are all identical in what the purpose of behind every single one of them is. And I ask every
Reaction bat.
No, not that. I ask every single one of you guys that are watching this at home, or wherever you may be, and then you guys sitting here is what is the first bit of bait that they really feed on September and October?
Crawfish.
No. Bait.
Brim?
Shad, little shad.
Tiny threadfin shad.
Oh shit! I thought they'd been eating on them things already for a while.
No. Tiny ones.
Yeah, but they really move hard. So the threadfin are already there. They're already in the back stuff pockets. Go fishing in the evening, August, July, and if you go in the back of like a creek or something like that, you will find those balls of shad just random. You'll see them on the surface.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
eventually, especially first thing in the morning, those shad will stay near the surface, but they move closer to the bank. And what happens was what I'm looking for these wolf pack fish. That is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these wolf packs of fish. Spots, largemouth, don't matter. I don't care. That's what I'm looking for. These fish are typically bigger this time of year. They are super aggressive. Those are the fish that know what to do. They know where to go. They've been around the block a time or two. These fish are older, and these fish know time to go.
Time to go. So yeah.
Time to go. It's time to go. We know what to do. Why do they go? It's one simple factor. Those little bitty shad, first thing in the morning in the fall, up on the bank, they are easy to eat. They're just balled up in these big balls, and they're right up close to the bank, right up close to the surface, and the wolf packs just go through and they devour them. And then when they get done devouring that school, then they move on down the bank and they just keep on going. And then they go find another school. All they're doing now, from now through until the winter, all they're going to do is eat. That's what they want to do. They're going to eat and suspend. There's really not much else they're going to do. They're going to eat, or they're going to suspend on some kind of structure. They're going to suspend out in the middle, like on Lanier and Allatoona. Probably, I don't know so much about Allatoona, but because of the herring thing that's going on now with Allatoona, where it's getting more and more predominant, those fish either eat or they suspend on something or suspend around something.
Sounds like the life to me.
That's what they do. That's pretty much what they
I'm
do.
going to go home and tell Mrs.
That's
Pruitt.
what we do.
I want to eat and I want to suspend.
And I will say this, I mean, this time of year, I'm not really that concerned about using forward-facing sonar as much. But I will say this, I will make this comment, and it was an assumption that I made, and then with forward-facing sonar, it proved me to be right. And I'm by no means taking credit for this, by no means, because I'm sure somebody figured it out a long time ago, way before I did. But these fish, when they get out there in the fall, especially when the turnover is getting going, basically their structure for about 90% of them is the balls of bait.
Right.
That is their structure. Wherever the bait goes, that's where they go.
That makes sense.
And with forward-facing sonar, I've been able to see, and a bunch of other people, I'm sure you guys that are watching that have some kind of forward-facing sonar and have looked at those fish and been curious as to why is this big old ball of bait in the middle of the mouth of this pocket. You've probably seen fish hanging around them in the fall.
Yeah.
And if you can figure out some way to trigger those fish, then it's just more fish that you can catch. So it brings your numbers up. But as far as the way I'm going, I'm pretty much going, balls to the wall, I guess is lack for a better term.
That's pretty good.
And I'm going down the bank as fast as I can.
Yeah. Well, hell, you always do that.
Yeah.
I don't hear you. Your trolling motor's smoking every time I go with you.
To an extent. But I mean, it's I know I see a couple of questions.
I want you to answer that one from John G. Wilson, especially with the spinnerbait, because I think he wants to know about that spinnerbait.
That typically what I've done the past 2 years now, when I've got off, and I really don't want to talk about forward-facing sonar tonight.
You did say this.
I really don't want to talk about it much.
He told me before the show, he goes, "We ain't talking forward-facing sonar at all." I didn't say a word. You have mentioned it 7 times since you got. I've been counting.
I know.
Okay, there you go.
I really don't want to talk. I really don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it.
He did say that.
He did say
I'll
that.
verify. He said that.
Well, I mean, this time of year, like I won't even turn it on. I don't even have any point in having it. But it's the jerk baits, the 1/4 ounce underspins.
Why the 1/4 ounce? Is it because you're throwing it shallow?
It's a combination of being able to throw it shallow, but then also in this time of year in the fall, the majority of your fish are looking up. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So when I throw something out there that's lighter, they're going to be more as the temperatures start cooling off. And all you guys probably watching this, the topwater bite for the past month has kind of been it's hit or miss. Some days they come up, some days they don't want to come up, but they're still looking up. But as it starts, the surface temperature kind of starts cooling off a little bit, and these shad start drooping up a little bit more. They will be more apt to want to come up and actually eat something quicker than they have been in June and July and August when it comes to topwater bait. But that's just my one. That's my way I do things. That's the way. It's no reason why I'd be the player of the book. But I've had a lot of success this time of year, and it's pretty much just been them handful of baits.
Well, let's just talk the bait. Let's break it down, because we've got 2 questions that have been about spinnerbaits. So one was, what do you do when you see them in a bait ball? Are you ripping the spinnerbait through it? And then Eric says, big spinnerbait or smaller ones?
It's going to go back to the small spinnerbait. So, like, my favorite spinnerbait of all time to throw in the fall, pretty much it stays laying on the deck of my boat September through December, is going to be some version of a mini-me spinner bait from Spot Sticker Baits. It is by far, I don't give a damn what anybody else throws. That is probably the best bait that you can throw, because you can throw it a long ways. It has tiny, tiny blades. And then also you can burn it.
Yeah, I knew that was
You
coming.
can really get them to where they can't get a good look at the bait, but then they have a high vibration. And if you look at some of them shad, you'll notice they'll be moving real quick as it starts cooling off, especially like we're going to take this Saturday, for example. I could go ahead and book it. It's going to be raining, but I guarantee the bait's going to be moving fast this Saturday morning. Why? Because it's going to be raining, overcast, and like 60 degrees Saturday morning at daylight, and it's not going to hardly even reach 70.
What's the water temp right now?
I really don't know.
What do you think? I mean, we're in the 70s now. Though?
I would say upper 70s.
But we're not really
low
hot.
80s probably.
Starting to cool off.
It's starting to get cooler. I know, talking about what Kevin said. I know Kevin and Kevin's. I mean, you're totally your way of doing it. I mean, that's totally. You're totally right. I mean, that is a totally viable way of what you're talking about doing. But some of my better days of fall transition fishing has been when the water temperatures are in the mid to low 70s. And that's just that. And the reason why I think is just because that 72, 73 degree water temperature is like the peak metabolism for like a bass. That's that low 70s, mid 70s.
That's when I feel
like
the
that's where their metabolism is just. And if Kevin Underwood watches, he'll probably throw something out there about the metabolism. You'll notice fish jump more and fish move more and they pull harder when water temperatures are in the mid 70s. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, they'll you'll catch one, and the first thing he wants to do, and water temperature 74, 75 degrees, first thing he wants to do is jump as high out of the water as it can.
I believe you.
So I mean, that's just kind of the way that it's always been. But I mean, for me, and like I said, I'm not claiming to write the book, but I mean, I've been hella successful doing exactly what I've been doing for a pretty long while. The first tournament I ever,
You said hell's a successful?
Yeah, hella successful.
Okay. I want to make sure I get them down.
The first tournament I ever won, though, was in September.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on a buzzbait.
We're going to get to the buzzbait.
That was the first one.
We're going to get to the buzzbait. There was a question from Will Deerman. Want to know what you put on the back of your underspin. Are you throwing a paddle tail? Are you throwing a straight tail style bait?
I'm going to be probably throwing just like a 3-point. Let me rephrase this. I want a 3.3 size Kitech bite. That's the one that I want. I feel like that is the right little wombo combo of size to getting them to eat the bait, to want to eat the bait just right. Is like a 3.3. But like last year, we couldn't get bit on anything but a 2.8, and I don't think anybody else could get bit on anything but a 2.8.
But last year was a little different.
It was a different winter.
Different.
It was a little bit different. Last year, the transition happened real fast and real hard, and then it kind of fish kind of just moved, even though it was still warm in the winter and like November. They seemed to just go ahead and move into the ditches.
Yeah,
and then they just went ahead and went there, and I was like,
have anything to do with the weather, maybe?
Yeah, I would probably say so.
But a lot of the tournaments over the winter were one shallow last year.
Yeah, but the fish been caught near ditches.
In places
where the fish can pull up real quick and then pull back out real quick.
But the standard ditch bite was not as prevalent last year on Lanier as it had been in years past. Because it was kind of an off year.
It seemed like
you couldn't get no size in the ditch.
It seemed like the people who found them, they found them.
Right.
We found them. Bronson and I found him twice.
How's he doing?
He's doing okay.
Good. All right.
He's I think he's still recovering a little bit from his back, but he'll be back.
Well, Bronson, we hope you feel better.
Running.
We hope you feel better, Bronson.
I miss him.
Here comes our Brokeback Mountain.
He's my partner.
You know what though? But y'all like a married couple.
Yeah, he's
y'all are like a married couple.
But I don't know. But it's last year. It was like the people that found them, they found them, but they found them in different like nuances of like different patterns of ditch fishing, and we found them twice, and we went back to them. One time we found them, we went back to them the very next weekend. They's gone. They was gone.
Yeah, but when does that normally set up? The normal ditch bite on Lanier. When does that normally say? Or Allatoona? Allatoona has a little bit of a ditch bite, right? Kevin, you do. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
don't
Altoona, you're
fish
gonna have to start paying
you don't
attention
fish
to it
ditches.
more.
I know you don't.
I know you don't.
We're going
but-
to talk about how you fish here in a second.
But for
too.
you Allatoona guys, I mean, Tim and Kevin, I mean, you're now that the way that the herring and the stuff like that is starting to affect it, the lake seems to be more and more affecting the lake more and more and more. And I will pound my chest on this. I called it like 2 years ago in this store. I said give it about 2 years. I said, y'all are going to be like, whoa, Allatoona. You know, it's fun to go. I argued from what I saw over the summer that I think in the summer, I believe Allatoona actually fished better than Lanier.
This year?
Yeah, in the summer. Because everyone was posting pictures and stuff all over Facebook and whatnot in Allatoona in July and August. And they're catching them on the fun stuff.
Yeah,
That's
true.
Sabills and slick sticks and top water baits and risers and different things, flukes and stuff like that. They're catching them on the fun baits. And on Lanier by August, it was kind of like, bleh.
Yeah,
I mean, I couldn't wait to get off Lanier in August. I was like, I'm done. And I haven't been on back Lanier since.
Right.
And I won't go back to Lanier till the end of this month, September. So
yeah,
let
me transition over to the Father Time over here. So you heard what he was saying. Now you fish Allatoona a lot more. And Casey Blanton up there, all you guys are putting your water temperatures in there, 78, 80. So we're getting ready to be in that much cooler water. Casey then said something about a 5.3 or 5.8 that was caught.
Casey's partner, Steve Cohen, caught a 530 spot.
Mm-hmm. That's Allatoona spot. So that's good. Why in the hell didn't you and I catch a 530 spot when we went?
I put you on the fish. You just
the hell you did. There wasn't no fish to be found. No, he did. I mean, he did. We tried, but he fishes different because I know how Ron fishes, and I fish with you.
I fish shallow.
You are a shallow water guy. Are you shallow water year round?
Yeah.
Okay, so going into the fall, what are you doing?
I'm going to the back of the creeks, but I'm gonna start probably.
What are you going to throw? More importantly,
2/3 of the way in when I start. I'm gonna throw a blade. I'm gonna throw a spinner bait. I'm gonna throw a fluke. I'm gonna throw a Cinco, a wacky. I am gonna throw that, and I'll have a jig tied on.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the.
You're very basic.
I am,
but they work. I mean, they work for you.
They're all power fishing except for the wacky.
That's the right fishing. That's the right fishing.
But when I get around covers where I'm going to be throwing that, something I can throw up in there and just let it sink slowly down.
Well, how about this? So he was talking about Allatoona being better this summer from appearances, what we saw everybody posting pictures.
You're seeing more bait on tuna. Yes, you are.
Why do you think Allatoona, in Ryan's mind, he says he thinks Allatoona fished better this summer than Lanier? You've been on it. Why? If that's the case, why?
The blueback for sure are having some kind of effect on it, but I can't compare it because I don't fish Lanier.
Yeah, but okay. Well, let's just talk Allatoona real quick.
They are getting bigger.
Yeah, but
and more plentiful too.
What do you think the bait is though when you go start back? Threadfin.
Threadfin.
So the way you fish right now, going in the fall, you're going to be concentrating on the threadfin, not the herring.
I'm probably up the river more than I am anywhere else. The north end of the lake. I very seldom go.
What the hell is the north end of Allatoona? It sits funny.
Where you and I were.
I don't even know where.
Victoria.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't sit like Lanier.
I'll fish Galt's north.
Huh?
Yeah,
I'll fish Galt's Ferry north.
Okay. All right.
He fishes above the dam.
So how about this?
Pretty much, right? Pretty much above the dam.
I went with Tim a couple of weeks ago. And
what's above the dam? I don't know which way is above.
The dam's in the middle of the
The
lake.
dam's in the middle of the lake. What's above it?
The dam. It's
Both sides are above.
All right. How about you want to compare it? It's like fishing above 369 on Lanier.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. That
you
puts
remember
it in
when we
perspective.
ran through that little cut? It was real shallow.
Yeah, I remember.
North of there.
North of there.
Everything north.
Okay. Hell, if I got my truck right now,
he fishes the northwest part of the lake because Allatoona is more of a east to west snake than it is a north to south.
It is, and that's what throws me off when somebody says I fish north of the dam. I mean, hell, both sides are north of the dam.
Right. Mid Lake is basically the dam and the biggest area, and then it just snakes off northwesterly, and then it goes south.
What's up, Harold Grizzle? Northwesterly? Say that again.
Northwestwardly? Is that better?
He's literally Kevin, like what Ron said right there. Kevin's literally fishing like the Etowah River arm.
Okay, Etowah.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me. But hell, don't the Etowah come out of it?
Yeah, but
Etowah coming in or Etowah going out?
And Little River too, Ron.
All right,
I don't know.
It's like this.
You got the Etowah coming in.
Yep.
And then it goes out from the dam.
In the middle.
If you go straight south from the dam, That's actually old Allatoona Creek that comes in from there, and then there's more feeder creeks like
I was going to say, what
Canyard
feeds
and
it up
stuff
by
like
75?
that would be Allatoona Creek.
Allatoona Creek. Okay, all right, I got you.
And it
I
was
don't get-
82 degrees too.
I don't
Monday
get
night.
on
Those guys
Allatoona
hit
a
it
lot.
on the head.
But now, do you agree with Ryan in that these bait in the morning, smaller bait, being you get your ultra aggressive fish on Allatoona shallow in the fall?
I don't know if
fished it
there's.
for 'em.
I don't think the wolf packs are as prevalent on
That's-
tuna as
it's
they
coming.
are on Lanier.
It's coming. It's coming.
So okay,
coming.
let me ask you a question. This might be an ignorant question,
I'm not a soothsayer, but I can promise you this: it's coming.
okay. But let me ask you why it's coming, because you say wolf packs because of the herring in Lanier, but both of you are talking about shad right now. Not a damn one of you mentioned throwing at herring. So why are they wolf packing up there with the? I mean, what's going to transition them into wolf packs? What's going to make them wolf
Because
pack?
because the fish that eat on herring all summer long and all spring long from the herring spawn on into the summer, those fish grow fast and they get bigger. But then those fish also know that there's easy stuff to eat up shallow.
So you're saying they wolf pack all summer,
leave the herring,
right,
and they will go
I think
up to the bank.
but
the
wolf,
shad are easier to catch. Too.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah,
that's what
sure.
I'm saying. They've been chasing bluebacks around all summer long, and they've gotten bigger. But then they're like, whew, they're just like us after a long day. Like, damn, let's go find something easy to eat.
So what you're saying though is they establish their wolf packing, chasing the heron, and they just transition. The same wolf packs go, okay, let's go get.
Well,
the
you'll
shad.
have a school of fish that sit on a brush pile, and all of a sudden they'll vacate the brush pile and they'll go to the bank.
Yeah,
and they'll go hang out on the bank and cruise up and down the bank for like 4 or 6 weeks.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the wolf packing shallow. You see what I'm saying? I get it out there on the herring. I'm wanting to know why they're still wolf packing chasing.
Because they just
small.
won't. That's
just what they do.
That's how they pin
Okay.
up the bait. I mean, that's just Mother Nature.
All
I
right.
guess that's a bass's nature.
I guess so. Yeah.
Ron's got a viable point too.
Well, what is that viable point? Why don't you read it for
The
me?
water's hurt. It's falling real fast on tuna.
That's the one disadvantage that tuna has.
Yeah. So we've got an electric only. We've got our classic the end of October, and William, my partner, goes, "Let's go pre-fish." This was about a month and a half ago. He goes, "Let's go pre-fish out, Stamp Creek on Altoona." I'm like, "Hell, we can go fish it all you want. It ain't gonna fish the same by the time we get around to it. The water's gonna be lower."
Nope.
How low will the water be on Altoona in the end of October? How far down will it be?
I don't know. They always say it's about 8 to 10 feet down.
Probably.
Ain't it?
It drops
Probably about halfway,
roughly
8 to
about
10.
9 feet, I think, is what they call
Don't
winter
they drop
pool.
it down like 18 to 20?
17 feet.
Okay,
Or is
so
it
it's about
17? My
halfway.
bad.
Yeah.
But all I know is
About
it's
halfway.
the different looking section of water in the
Well,
winter.
they're not supposed to start to the 1st September, but they started early this year dropping.
It has been, but it's been really dry. I I drive over the Etowah River like pretty much daily over on the Highway 9 side of Dawsonville,
Yeah.
and there ain't no water in the Etowah.
All
River
your trout guys,
it's like,
listen,
it's empty.
seriously, all your fly fishermen up here are like, we need rain.
Yes.
We need rain. The creeks and all that are down.
Yes. I've seen more. It's been a minute, but Lanier, for some reason, Lanier's down a little bit, but Lanier's still full. I'm still hoping that Lanier will just drop to 20 foot below full pool, just one time.
20 foot.
It's the effect of what it will do.
And let grass grow on the bank.
Yes, it'll do that if it won't come up fast in the spring, but then it'll get rid of some of that damn algae.
Snot grass.
Everywhere.
I
Yes.
hate snot grass.
If we don't get something
weed.
Lanier before too long, I hate to say it, Lanier's about to be like Burton if we don't have something happen. And you're just like, shaky head is the dominant bait on Lanier year round. I mean, I ain't gonna argue that. We're sure the shaky head fishermen, they're gonna be, oh, you ain't got nowhere to fish.
Everybody be drop
Every
shotting.
time I throw something up there, it's
Everybody be
get
drop
all caught up in snot.
What is Ron's tuna is
2.41 feet below full right
I'm
now.
trying to go without my glasses.
And I think that's about what Lanier is. Lanier's around 2 foot.
About 2 foot.
It's somewhere around in there.
When
But
I drove,
I ain't been on Lanier since the second weekend of August.
when I drove across Hartwell,
Hartwell's over 5.
it was down a lot when we drove up to Virginia. Going up 85. I was like, dang, it's low.
Hartwell, I pre-fished Hartwell for that last tournament we had up there. I went the weekend before, and it was like 5 foot below full pool. And we went back the next weekend, I think it was 6 foot. They just suck the piss out of Hartwell, and I don't know why they do, but it's.
Well, I don't know either. All right, so okay. Turnover. I heard last week, or it might have been the other night with you or somebody in here at the store said that up on the northern end, they're starting to see a little bit of the turnover. How long is it going to take it to get across the whole lake? I did hear up the Chestatee arm.
Chestatee always flips first.
Yeah, it's already doing
It always flips.
So it's flipping now.
The water always, you rule of thumb for any of you guys that are watching, you rule of thumb that you can always pretty much take to the bank. Yeah, Harold's right. They need to plant corn on Hartwell. Hell that lake.
Juliet's low too. Says
I caught a damn 7.5 pounder out of there last weekend or whenever it was.
Well, you flex a little bit.
And I still said, damn, drain the whole lake.
I caught a 7 pounder, but I want to drain the lake.
Wow.
No,
it was pure like just doing what I do. I just so happened I got the bite.
I know. I
mean,
James Collins made me laugh.
James made me
take a picture,
and I was like, I don't want to take a picture of this fish.
I just happened to get the bite. That's what your big fish is.
I knew what he caught it on before he ever did because James Collins fished with in that tournament. He called me up because you got any of them black buzz baits in stock, them double bladed ones. And I said, yeah, I got the accent, the B2Bs and all that. And I said,
quarter ounce.
I don't know what he was throwing.
It was a quarter ounce.
But he come in and bought 5 of them. And I was like, that's what Ryan caught that big fish on. I know good and well.
That's like always been my general rule of thumb for the fall. And guy I started taking me fishing a long time ago. I was like 18 years old. He was like talking about, well, this is what I always generally do. And when it comes to emulating bait, then golly, I got hiccups. Trying to emulate.
It's that big ass word you're trying to say.
Yeah, trying to emulate bait.
But chicken bowl.
He was always.
He ate them, didn't he?
He's covering up for that while he's thinking. How do I say this word?
It's like, I adapted what he taught me.
Right.
And I won't say his name because last time I said his name, he was like, "Don't be talking about me on the internet." And I was like, "Okay."
Is he the same guy won't purchase on Amazon or nothing like that? Afraid his identity's gonna get stolen? Right.
Are you read? Yeah, I read comments as it goes. This is
Yeah, we read them, so throw them out there.
But I always try everything I do this time in the fall is I always try to downsize everything. Like everything. I try to I even downsize my jig.
Yeah. Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
For those of you in the comment section, when they get to going, sometimes we miss questions, and Tim does the best job he can at trying to get us back to them. But if we missed a question or a comment, put it up again. We'll get to it. We promised right there. So
I think he was cracking on Ryan, thinking he was thinking and reading at the same time, and it wasn't going well.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's when he was over. I got to.
Listen, the reason is because he come in. He came straight from work. The man hadn't eaten anything, and every Thursday night, Kevin brings us 2 boxes of Publix chicken wings. So shout out to Publix. They're excellent. And Ryan come in and had a whole box of them by himself. He goes, "I'm hungry." So man's got a full belly. He's doing the best he can.
We got screwed today. I had to bury a whole main line. And we didn't get done until like 6:30.
Well, we appreciate your service. Now let's
now
talk. He was hungry. Read Eddie. What Eddie's question? Are they letting water out of Lanier? I think it's just because there's no water coming in Lanier.
I think it had a lot to do with ain't no water.
Yeah, all the creeks are low. Somebody made. Let's see. Wilson up there about Juliet right there. It's down because there's no water coming into the creeks to feed it. So I think, and everybody talks about the Chestatee. At least the Chestatee more than Chattahoochee, but all the trout guys that come in the store, they're like the Etowah, the Chestatee, the Amiclo, they're all low. We need to rain. And actually that hurricane would have kind of helped us, but it's kind of going west of direction. As long as he gets his ass off Gunnersville before this weekend, I'll be fine.
Right.
Right, Tim, we're gonna
we're
gonna have some fun on Gunnersville. All right. So and I want to make sure Tatum heard me say, "Hey, Daddy," because if not, I'll get that one. Yeah. She gets moody when I don't say her name.
There you go. We got it on camera.
Got it on. So there you go. Hey, Daddy.
So
go save some babies.
So I can tell you this though, what I was going to say though, but it's so like for anywhere you go, just think about like this, especially if you got a reservoir that is man-made reservoir that has like more than one main feeder river. Your smallest volume your smallest body of water that flows in will flip first. It will turn over first.
Hence the Chestatee on there.
That's why the Chestatee always starts, then Chattahoochee. The Chattahoochee has like a profound effect on Lanier because just the amount of water that comes out of Chattahoochee that goes into Lanier.
Yeah, for sure.
The Chestatee side, and it really when the Chattahoochee starts flipping, it's like it's nasty. I mean, it's just
Oh,
it
is nasty. Yeah, it
sucks. This
stinks.
fishing just sucks.
Yeah.
Up there, and it's just and the reason why it sucks. I mean, we catch fish, but there's no rhyme or reason to half of it. Or why was this fish here? Why was this fish doing this? Why was this fish? Because you'll be like, oh, I got a pattern, and then that pattern will kick you in the butt. Because you'll be like, boy, was I wrong? Because you'll fish something for 2 hours thinking that it was a bite pattern, you won't get another damn bite.
Yeah.
You know, so then you're just like, well, I'll just.
And you're picking off leaves and everything from the bottom. All that crap comes up too.
Yeah, like you pine needles and all that
They're
stuff.
everywhere.
Leaves, they float to the surface. But you know, I don't know.
What?
So Tom, he was our first frost. They school shallow from Tom in Kentucky.
Kentucky. All right. Well, Tom, hey, if you're joining us from Kentucky, which I assume you are, thank you very much, buddy.
And I would say a place like a lake like in Kentucky, like northern Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, Missouri. Those places like that. Shout out to Dion Hibden for the other night. That was really fun.
It was very much, very much.
But those like Mason Dixon line lakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the frost, those first frost, like what he's talking about. I say those first frosts really have like a much more profound impact on actually getting the fish into like a fall winter bite.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of a shock,
just because of how cold it gets quicker. So
read, let's see, go up a couple if you don't mind. Just above that, Eric Richards. Would you take the same approach on smaller lakes that are largemouth lakes? And he's talking again. He's an Lexicon fisherman, so you get down on your hard labors, even hickory lock. Because just I know there's a spot or two in there. Latham's a little different because it's got spots. But Rocky Mountain, those kind of lakes. Would you have the same approach in fall?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I would do.
Depending on the bait they got in there.
If it's a largemouth only lake, like you say, hard labor, like that one for example, I'm probably gonna throw a buzzbait like all day long. Like I ain't even gonna probably think about throwing anything else.
Right.
I mean, I'm gonna hit every piece of structure. I'm gonna hit every stretch of bank, that I can find. The biggest keys that you can find on in the fall. When you're buzzbait fishing or pop art fishing, where it don't matter, it really don't matter. But I mean, a buzzbait, I can throw it real back, and I don't like blooping things that much. So
I was on Rocky the other day, and they're in the dirt.
Yeah, so
Like
I mean,
they're in the dirt.
They've scattered and run way back up in the dirt.
If they're up in the dirt, I'm gonna be trying to find something to trigger their predatory instincts. And for me, it's a buzzbait. That's pretty much what I'm gonna throw. That's what I've always have thrown, but like I said, when any of you guys that are fishing, if you take anything for the next hour that I say tonight and take it to heart, and I'm being wholeheartedly truthful about this, downsize everything you got. I mean, I'll throw 1/4 ounce double blade buzzbait. You can throw it the 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce single blade. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. That's why I said the mini spinner bait is king because it's so small.
Right.
And then and I haven't talked about it yet, but like the jig, like I don't throw a full size jig this time of year. I don't even throw a finesse jig really, and it kind of is a finesse jig, but I throw that creepy crawler. I put that Yamamoto mini skirt on there,
right,
and a double tail grub like on a 1/4 or 3/8 ounce head, and that jig is like that big. It's tiny. It's a small profile, but I downsize everything. I know a couple of my buddies, they talk real big in October and November. They do real good on like 4-inch Senkos.
Yeah.
And they not even on a Ned rig or anything. They do good on like 4-inch Senkos. I don't know what Kevin throws when he talks about throwing his wacky, but I bet you probably don't throw a 6 or 7-inch Senko this time of year, do you? Okay, well he's not.
He's a little, but he's a little different.
But I would just
throw
assume
a 6 or 7. I throw a 5.
Okay, so he's throwing a 5. So I mean, yeah, like a 4 or 5-inch. Like if you want to throw a Senko and you want wacky it, I mean, if it was me, green pumpkin always works, but maybe do something that's got like looks like a shad.
I want to answer this question real quick before we forget it. I had to put my glasses on. I sure as hell couldn't read anything. Jonathan McLean, a little off topic, which is not off topic at all. How long have herring been in Lanier? Have y'all seen down cycles in the spotted bass size over the years?
Not yet.
Not on the down cycle, but it's been predominant 20 years. 20 years?
They put herring in the 90s. I can't remember.
But when it finally took, it's been 30 years since it's been, at least 30 years since it's been in there.
I would say somewhere in 30-year range, the herring's been in Lanier. But
not down.
Lanier,
Downsize.
Lanier, like
Lanier's
when I,
different.
like when I started bass fishing, like tournaments, like real hardcore, and I know I've seen a couple of the names that can kind of re-verify this with me, like Harold Grizzle and a few other ones that fish Lanier.
Re-verify.
Yeah, they can verify it however you want, whatever my
You
redneck
redneck.
has to go. But like
He
like
knows
in the
what he's-
2010s, like the late 2000s to like the 2010s, like this is when I started tournament fishing, like on Lanier. 14, 15 pounds of spots was damn good bag. That was like catching 20.
Yeah.
And then as the couple years rolled on, you know, when Tim Hawkins and them at Hammond's, they started holding the Hammond's Winter Trail, you started seeing bags where it was starting to take like 17, 16, 18, you know, of spots to really win those Hammond's Winter Trails. And now, of course, with Scott Barnes now, you know, if you ain't got 20, you can forget it.
Don't even weigh in.
Don't even weigh in.
Don't even
there's
weigh
no
in.
point. I mean, the only way I'd weigh in a bag under 20 is if I had like a 6-pounder. I mean, that's the only reason I'd even weigh them fish in.
Look at all the comments, the guys that go.
Um,
Jonathan, where are you from? Just if you don't mind me asking. McLean, I'm curious. Now in Alatoona, the herring, what do we say? We started hearing people talk about seeing herring there about 4 years
about 4
ago.
or 5 years ago.
And the striper guys said they were there, but
Yeah.
nobody, DNR never said they was or whatever. And now it's just
DNR
like
also
everybody
wasn't.
is like
I thought DNR said they weren't in there.
DNR said they weren't
Smith
in there.
Lake. There you go. Appreciate you, buddy.
DNR also basically said that, you know, DNR anytime to talk about it on Alatoona, and shout out to DNR, they do a great job.
We love you.
Y'all didn't. Yeah.
You got to get that disclaimer in there.
listen,
Thank you, State
here we go.
Boys.
Let me make sure because I'm on this rock tonight. Fish North Georgia absolutely 100% supports our DNR and all our law enforcement personnel.
Yeah.
That work? We got it. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
We'll make sure I don't want them coming out my ass.
I was at a King of Bass. I don't fish big tournaments. I fish a lot of pot tournaments and little club tournament stuff. I don't like fishing big tournaments. So
How many tournaments has Ryan won? A few.
This year I've only won like 3.
Yeah, a few.
3 or 4 this year.
How about that? How does
I ain't done too good this year.
That's all right. That's all right. We're human, right? We said that earlier. Now we're going to ask this question from John G. Wilson, and then we're going to have our question of the night, which I'm telling you, if y'all get this, and it's just going to shock me. I'm just telling you, Kevin, it's going to shock me. You're going to do the same one, right?
Yeah,
All
they'll
right.
get it.
They'll get it. Let's do John G. Wilson's. How does the fall transition affect rivers like the Oconee River? I don't know that. Is there really? There's definitely not a turnover because the water's moving all the time. So how does a river work? I'm not a river guy. I don't really know how to answer that question. Do you?
No, because I'm not fishing the river. I'm fishing down by the dam.
So how about in the comments
Turnovers
section?
are different on current.
Is there a turnover on current?
Well,
No.
you got pump
Yeah, that's what I'm
back-
saying, huh?
You got pump back.
You may go up a creek somewhere and you're going to have clean moving water, but if you go back off into a finger that doesn't have anything feeding it,
Yeah.
oh, it's nasty as crap back there. You got to
Okay.
move back out to clean water.
I got you.
It's like, you know, the smaller body of water that has less current in it, it's going to get super nasty. You get on a bigger lake and you'll go in a pocket and you're like, you might as well just move. Go find clean water.
Makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Let's do this question. Yeah, if you guys in the comment section fish the rivers, please answer that question for John G. Wilson. How does the fall transition affect rivers? All right, so
But they don't. I won't say about that.
I'm gonna get our prize.
But they don't. They don't back pump as much as they used to. Like on Oconee, right? Like
Oh, yeah, they
between
do.
Oconee and Sinclair.
Oh yeah,
Like, but they ain't. Do they still do 2 foot?
that's about 18 inches.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's. I know they move the water. I mean, it used to be they move the water like really like daily, and they still. I guess they still do move it daily.
Yeah, they drop it at night and bring it back in the morning.
Oh, so they drop it at night. So I remember that a long time ago. They drop it like in the middle of the day. Sometimes depending on their schedule.
right.
You hear I've been on Oconee and heard the sirens going
Sirens
off
go off at the
like in
dam.
the middle of the day, and they're pulling water. So
Okay. I say seen a little downtick the last year or so in size. Now he's on Smith. Now that's a deep lake too. Got herring in it. That's up there around Alabama Bass Council's area right there.
yeah.
Slick and them. Right? Ain't that the one they're on? I hope they show up Sunday night.
That's
in
the right
Gunnersville.
neighborhood. Yeah.
That's their neighborhood. Let's go ahead. Well, go ahead.
I don't want to talk about Smith Lake. I never fished Smith Lake, but I know a couple guys that live over there that fish it pretty regularly. But Lanier is like
It's not a Lanier.
it's Lanier's different.
It is. It's a unicorn.
And I made the comment like a year ago that was talking about the way Lanier is working right now. I feel like Lanier is either at a plateau, and I feel like it's at a plateau, and it's just going to be like, how long will that plateau run? Out through there, because if you want to be a serious, look at all those guys that are the serious, like real good big time tournament fishermen on Lanier that you always see, on all the Lake Lanier tournament pages and all that stuff, and then like Emil and Paul and all them who are going up, trying to make it to the Elite Series, fish professionally,
gonna make it.
I believe they're going to make it. But like they, like Lanier's like it just, the quality of the fish is just
stupid,
ungodly.
It's stupid.
And now you're getting to this point now where it's like the largemouth on Lanier, there's just getting so many more of them again. And, it's just regularly that you see, somebody catch a big one in a tournament, whether it's a big tournament, club tournament, like pot tournament, like ones I like to fish. It's not uncommon for us to see somebody on Saturday or Sunday morning bring in a 5-6 pound lip, no matter what time of year it is.
That's true.
And it used to not be that way.
Yeah.
It used to only be in the spring, pretty much, and like a wheel period in summer.
Bardet is in the house right there, and he knows a little thing or two about electricity. So they drop Oconee when the cost of power is high, usually during the day, and pump back when the cost is low, usually at night.
There's your nugget.
There's your nugget, guys, for you Oconee guys. And he works for Power Company, don't he?
He works for Georgia Power.
Georgia Power. I thought it was right there. So there you go. So that's some.
Sinclair was down
Sinclair was down
this morning.
Okay, so let's do the question of the night. And what we're going to do, I'm going to give you this Evolve rod sleeve. I'm telling you guys, this is a regular. It is for a bait caster, not a spinning one. I'm just telling you, if you ever get your hands on these, all the guys that come up to the shop and buy one, they will come back and say, they're worth every penny, and they will never own another rod sleeve. They're by far the best. They float. It's a very good product, and I've got them on all my rods for sure. What's up, Charles Wisnett? Let's go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do is you're going to read it twice. Tim knows the answer, right?
He does.
You and Tim keep watching in the comment section, and then me and Ryan are going to keep talking. All right?
You got it.
The impossible question, I think.
It's not impossible.
Well,
just listen to the question clearly.
Listen clearly.
In what year is it rumored that BASS started its lifetime membership? I'll read it again. In what year is it rumored that BASS started its lifetime memberships?
There you go. Rumored is the key word there, right?
That's the key word.
What year was it rumored? All right, so
Clint, I'm counting on you, buddy.
Clint, I ain't seen Clint. Is he
yeah, he's on. I sent him a text and told him, I said, if you get this one, he'll have his fourth rod sleeve.
Forgot it.
Son of a gun. Are you serious? Go ahead and tell everybody why it was 1968.
All right.
There's a story behind it.
Don Butler of Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first angler to join Ray Scott's fledgling organization in 1968. Butler asked Scott how much would it cost to join, and Scott said $10. Butler handed him a $100 bill and said, "How's this for a lifetime membership?" Butler competed on the BASS trail from then until 1977. Then he fished a few more tournaments in 1990. He has a classic victory to his credit too. 1972 Bassmaster Classic he won.
So he just threw out $100 and said, "Here, I'll give you $100. I want a lifetime membership."
That's what he said.
And he bought it. He took it.
He took it.
What's it cost to be a lifetime member now?
$750. But you can get, sometimes they'll give you a $250 discount.
Do you get a senior citizen discount?
No, you don't.
You know what though? You remember when Georgia came out with those lifetime licenses back in the early 2000s or whatever? Yeah. Listen,
they still do them. Though.
They do them, but they were cheap when they first started. They had like
$400
and forever hunting.
It was like hunting and fishing.
Yeah. That is the worst thing that I never did buy.
Senior citizen is free.
Yo, fart like that. But I mean,
hey,
I should have bought it.
Something to look forward to one day.
What's that?
You'll be a senior citizen before you know it.
I'm getting that AARP shit in the mail already.
There you go. See?
I'm serious.
They
I'm
know.
listen. I might be a senior
Make sure,
citizen,
make
but
sure you communicate with Kevin on all that
Is
stuff. He'll
that
tell you what to
Kevin?
sign up for.
Kevin,
What?
all do I need to be a senior citizen? To be a successful senior citizen, other than the blue pill?
Turn 62.
Probably a portfolio, a stock portfolio in Publix probably don't hurt
No,
either.
listen, every male on my dad's side, they all die at 60. So if I hit 62, I'm taking the entire state of Georgia
Think
to party.
positive. Think positive.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go smoke some weed and just live it up. I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding about the weed. I'm just saying we're gonna party hard. How about that?
Did you get that, Tim?
I didn't hear anything. I'm busy watching
Are
comments.
you busy? I'm just joking. That's a running joke. Me and my cousin. We're gonna party like hell if I hit 62. So anyway, hey, a lot of you guys got it. So winning 3 or 4 tournaments a year is great. That's better than most Bassmaster guys. It is. It just don't pay as well.
It don't pay. It don't pay as well.
No,
for
but
sure.
But that's
the most. I think the most tournaments I ever won in one year, like club level stuff, was like 11. And that was like between pots and like club stuff.
how many,
and I mean, that's like I'm like excited. I won like $200 this weekend.
yo, I know it, right?
But I mean, I've just never really. I fished a few big tournaments, but I just don't really. I like fishing the little stuff. I like fishing against the people that I like to, that I'm friends with. You know, like
that you can rag a little bit too.
It's more fun to catch 13, 14 pounds. Be like, ha ha, I beat you. Even though it's like I suck today.
Retirement center.
How many tournaments have you won? Because you go back a long, no, not this year. Let's talk lifetime.
Winning's hard.
Winning's hard.
It is hard.
Probably 3 or 4 is all.
How about you, Tim?
I ain't never won a tournament.
What?
I have won.
I get in the top 10 sometimes, but that's about it.
I've won 3 tournaments. Now, me and Josh got lucky on a bed fishing tournament at Rocky. All right, we won that. I joined high voltage anglers when they were coming to Latham in my front yard, and I won that tournament with 5.06 pounds. That tells you how far Latham has come back in the day. And we caught the 5th fish that won it when we were driving back to the ramp to weigh in our 4 fish for 4 pounds. And then I had a wild card event against one other boat. It was only 2 of us showed up for the wild. Hell yeah, I'm counting it. He got me into the classic right there.
Hey, I have small goals. Next Sunday, if I can get 1 ounce more than Dane Hunter, you watching Dane? See, that's a win for me.
Anytime you can beat
Right.
Danny
See,
Hunter,
that's my goal. Now, if I place up in there, that's a bonus.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's funny because you're talking about fishing tournaments with buddies and all that.
Yeah.
Like anytime I fish an electric tournament and Chris Gayton shows up because he's good. He wins all the time. And I'm all the time. He's probably the most consistent electric only angler out there. And I'm like, my goal today is like, if he finishes 5th, I want to finish 4th. And it's only happened one time. He's like, I can't beat his ass. Ty Patterson.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, Ty,
Thanks for
How about
sharing,
it, Danny?
Thanks for sharing,
I
Ty.
could get in so much trouble. I'm trying to be good tonight right there.
I think he meant frog.
Oh, fall fishing makes me throw a horny toad. I think that's what he's trying to say.
I don't know about all that.
That's what I think that's what he's trying to say. Be glad about freedom. We have to do it. That's exactly right. We get to do stuff. And it's fun. You know, fishing's fun. I won a kayak tournament on the Canoochee River a couple months ago with 1 fish. Out of 8 people, I was the only one who caught 1. You know what?
That's a win.
A win is a win. And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
A win is a win. And Kevin, you won boats. Miss Terry's watching tonight.
That's different.
Oh, Miss Terry, I love you.
Under the bus, he
Miss
went.
Boats.
Listen, though, Miss Terry, we got to do something with this man's hip. And I'm counting on you. We got to get this hip going on. Howdy, y'all. So what's up, slackers? Good to see Ryan on the show again. Yeah, we'll let him show up every once in a while. And but in the fall, you know, there's just something about fall fishing to me that just feels right. But when I want to know, like, patterns right now. I watched Kevin fish today. He's throwing Seville. He was throwing a fluke. He was waxing their ass. He was just nailing them. When does that bite die off? Because it's still on right now.
Kevin's like way better at it than a lot of people.
Yeah.
And just in general when it comes to.
But a lot of guys come in and they're buying that stuff right now, and they're going to stop buying it at a certain point.
Yeah, they will, but it's like I think I said it earlier like an hour ago. You got like for me this time of year from now through like about middle of November, And then my mindset changes, and then I basically like ditch fish, for
Right.
the most part, ditch fish or fish brush piles around docks. Yeah, I'm either going to fish for the fish that I talk about that's on the bank,
Yep.
or I'm going to fish for the fish that are like offshore, that are like deep. The thing about like if you're a tournament fisherman, like the thing like I've had some places like over the years, like in the fall, where it's like there's a group of fish that set up in October, and they set up like on some point or something like that, for example, or like a shallower hump, and they just stay there, and they're easy to catch, and it's like a real fast place to go catch, 5, whatever size they are, but this time of year in the fall, going now through the fall, in my mindset, the way that I like to do it is even if it's 10, 11, 12, 13 pounds on some little offshore spot, if I can make like 5 casts and I got those 5, then I've got like the rest of the day to go do what I want to do. I can go throw spinnerbait if the wind gets blowing pretty good, or I can just go grind out with a buzz bait all day long, or, throw that little jig around. And just basically look for like 1 or 2 upgrades and try to see if I can't catch or at least catch one big one, over 5. But I will say this for you guys watching, like if you can find like one of those magic little spots and you'll probably find multiple if you really stick to it hard, a couple of those magic like offshore spots, those fish when they get there, they don't leave, they stay.
Mm-hmm.
If those fish choose to live that way, and there's bait around, and that's where they want to live, they will stay there to live.
We've always talked about that.
Yeah, and me and Kevin a couple of years ago, me and Kevin went like in October, I think it was, and I caught like a 560 something spot, and it was like the big. I think I caught 2 fish all day long with Kevin. Kevin caught several other ones. I caught one on a jerkbait like first thing in the morning, but it was like really cold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was like really cold, but it was like we were duded up with the hoodie and like our wind blown gear and all that kind of stuff like that. And anyway, we went out there and we fished kind of like your typical like transition banks first thing in the morning, like going into the backs of these creeks with like a jerk bait and whatnot, and we caught a few fish. I caught one decent one with Kevin that day. He was like messing around with a rod. He was like, he had backlashed it the day before and forgot to fix it. So I was just up there on front of the boat fan casting around a jerkbait, and I caught one like 2.5, 3 pounds, somewhere around that range. And but then we went off, and I didn't catch anything, like at all, like for a couple hours. And Kevin caught several. Well, then we went over to literally a shallow hump that was kind of like a spring hump.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what the best way to describe it. It was like topped out at like 11 feet. And we throw Sabiles over it. And I threw a Sabile over there. And Kevin was looking at it over there because I was standing on the back deck of his boat. And this big one just annihilates it. And I mean, I got the picture on my phone still because Kevin was like, dude, that's a damn big one. And like I boat flipped it. Like not even realizing what it was. And it laid in the bottom of the boat. And I was like, dude, that's like a 5.5 pound spot, like all day. And but those are the kind of bite. But what I'm trying to get at is like those are the kind of bites like this time of year that like are like bonuses. Like that's what you want to look for. That's what you really want to try to find, like 1 or 2 of those good bites. Because if you can have 10 pounds on 2 fish,
oh yeah,
I mean that's pretty good. The fall, in my opinion,
we don't sell waypoints. Bassmaster Jim wants to know how much you're charging.
I saw that.
Waypoints. And there's a couple of questions that I missed. I know what they are. I'm gonna get to, but I saw that right there, and I'm like, we don't need to talking about buying waypoints tonight. That has been such the talk around it lately.
It might be. I mean,
this depends. You just want waypoints or waypoints where there's like structure. We
I
see all the waypoints you want.
Spots. I do know a couple of them.
I don't sell waypoints at all, by no means.
I'll sell them to you. I'll sell you all of Ryan's waypoints.
But and like what Surf Dad said, he said, I have a few times in the last couple of years continue to try back, but it's only good about every other year. Yeah, those fish seem to move. And that's the one thing, like what I said earlier too. These fish, they don't always go to the same places. They don't always return to the best place that you may think is the best place. You know, you may find them 2 years in a row, like kind of on the same location. But then all of a sudden that third year you go back and you're like, damn, why aren't they here again? And then you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened. You know, well, you got to keep an open mind. And I even find myself slipping back into it every blue moon during the fall where I'm like, they should be here. But I'm like, no, live by the credo. They move around. They move around year round. And especially from year to year, they don't always stay in the same places.
That's true. But listen, I've been on a boat with you, and you're acting like you got all this zen going on right now. I've seen you get pissed.
I do, and that's and those are those moments.
Where the hell are
those
those fish at? Yeah.
Well, those are those moments when I do get kind of pissed off because I'm like, man, they've been here like the past 2 years. And
I'm just giving you a hard time
here this time.
Yeah.
But that's where like fishing spots can like that.
That's a lot. You met him behind a poorly lit Chevron and sold him some waypoints.
Gerald Swindle said it best several years ago on a YouTube video, and I mean, if there's anybody to listen to about fishing, I mean, Gerald Swindle, he is by far the best junk fisherman ever. And when I say junk fisherman, I mean he throws everything. So he's a junk fisherman.
Okay. Is that what that means?
And I'm kind of a junk fisherman myself. I just have power tendencies where I want to get away from it. But Gerald Swindle said it best. He said, don't get hung up on spots. And I think every single one of us watching and sitting here, all four of us sitting here, sometimes, you know, we caught a big one here.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, or we pulled up to this spot one time and caught the hell out of them.
I've done it on Latham.
And it's like, you just want that one spot to produce again.
Yes.
And then it's like, if it doesn't produce again, like the next time, that same time of year again, you're kind of like, man, was that a fluke?
Guilty of that.
What was the deal with that?
I got 3 spots on Latham that every time I go to, I expect the fish that I caught 3 years ago to be there, like that magical morning. And I was like, boom, 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 boom. And then like, it never shows up. I want to get to that. Charles has put a question up a couple times. And I'm going to let you, Kevin, start off with this. And then I'm going to let Tim answer. I want your opinion on that. What do you think? And you can use it for Alatoona because it's similar.
Is it this one?
Yeah. Pull that one up. What do you think? What do you guys think will be the most productive bait during the winter months on Lanier other than a jig head minnow, which is your typical ditch fishing, deep water fishing kind of thing? So for you on Alatoona, what do you think?
I don't fish much winter, but if I'm going to go, I'm going to throw a Carolina rig.
Carolina rig. Okay, that's the old
Working
standby.
Points, yeah.
Working points on the Carolina rig. All right, Tim, what about you?
Yeah.
Or crankbait? Yeah. What do you?
I'm going to throw a wobblehead with a critter on it.
A wobblehead with a critter on it.
Parallel the bank or the point. Throw it out there.
You think that'll be the most productive?
It worked for me and got me 10th place with 4 fish.
There you go. Okay.
In muddy, cold, nasty water in February.
I'm going to say you can't go wrong with a rock crawler. Those type DT 6 or 8. That's your standard, typical standard. I don't know if that'll be the most productive, but it's always productive. What about you? Other than a jig head minnow?
There's one bait that there's so many old heads have won so much. They have made people cry, made grown men cry on over the years on Lanier. And that's a jig. Well, that is a jig, like a regular, just a jig.
You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
And there's been some there, and there still will be. That jig bite, if you can figure that thing out just right and get it dialed in, you'll get heavy fast. I mean, you will.
Yeah, no.
And there's a bunch of guys out there that they can fish the crap out of it. And that's like their number one bait, like in the winter, and like in the winter and the fall and stuff like that, is a jig.
You're dragging it, aren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, he drags anyway. I mean, he's a dragger anyway.
I'm not gonna say
bullshit.
I'm not gonna say.
You can't get out of here without saying it.
He's swimming that thing like a wobblehead, burning it down the bank. No.
Come on.
You got to figure out that timber bite.
There you go. That's good.
There you go. If you can figure out that timber bite with a jig,
Yeah. Well, you know, Allatoona ain't got it. We got it on Lanier.
and that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll go up there and drag a jig around a dock with a deep brush pile on it, like
Yeah.
stuck in 30, 40 foot of water and catch some fish. But them fish ain't gonna do you the same good. These guys that they have so much knowledge and they've won so many tournaments.
Yeah.
And they've won thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And we all know probably a handful of them. The Daryl Strayhorns of the world, you know, guys like that have thrown a jig in the wintertime and they have just
Barday, don't fish memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
My wife says something like that.
I'm gonna tell you what though. I'm not gonna blow Barday's bald head up on him or not me, but I'm gonna tell you what, that dude right there, he can fish a jig.
Hold on a second. Little spotty Picasso.
Sorry, my apologies.
Little spotty Picasso. Stephen Barday might as well have that tattooed on his forehead. He loves that jig, and I'm not knocking. He loves that.
Me and him went fishing Thanksgiving week last year.
He told me about it.
He'll probably remember this, if not say something.
Look at him, little spotty.
He threw a little spotty and a damn Ned rig all day long. I think he caught like 20 something fish with me, and I caught like 10 or 11. But I caught the biggest one that day. We probably had like 17 pounds, somewhere around in there.
He told me, he came to the shop.
And then we went, he wanted to fish that Scott Barnes tournament. And we went and we pretty much, it did not work out the same way that next weekend. But we did weigh in our fish.
Yeah.
We had like about 14 pounds.
Yeah.
We did weigh in our fish because Barday caught a 523 spot on a Ned rig.
I
was like, and he goes, "This might be the biggest spot I've ever caught." And I was like, "Well, hell, we got to weigh it in now. We got to see exactly how much it weighs on Fish and Scale."
Well, he's an Allatoona boy. I bet that was a big one. He does like that. You would think what's funny. It's kind of like you big guys with your dogs. The bigger the guy, the smaller the dog.
He done
Here's
me
Barday.
so bad.
He's a big man.
Big man.
He's throwing that Ned rig and that little spotty.
I tell you what, though, he was killing me that day, and he like was making me. He's like, "Here, throw this rod."
He told me that.
Throw this rod.
He told me
finally
that.
I grabbed, and it's like a whatever. He can tell you what it is in the comments if he so wants to what it was, but it was a G Loomis, and it was like
it was a
whatever
setup.
the hell the top of the line.
Oh, of course,
ever made is with a Shimano reel.
It glows when you throw it.
Yeah, it glows when you throw it, and he was like, "Just throw it one time." And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, "I'm gonna get bit on this thing, and then the man's gonna be upset at me because I caught a fish with his rod and his reel."
I would be more worried about breaking it.
But I mean, I was essentially throwing a little spotty up there and skipping it up to this dock over there, up by walkway, and I'm like rearing back and like it's like $1,000 in my hand. That was like what it was.
Don't let go.
Jeez. So
I know the feeling.
But I mean, I ain't gonna blow his head up. But Barday, he can fish the hell out of a little spotty jig.
It's so amazing though. He likes that finesse stuff.
Oh, he does.
That old Ned rig. But he come up to the shop and he was telling me about that day, and he had you in there because I was throwing to throw a little spotty.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
What do you think about? And now listen, it says Patricia Leanne Shaw. Now, if you're Patricia, thank you for showing. But I find that a lot of guys come in with. I don't know who the hell I'm talking to sometimes, but she says spoon. Now, spoon bite's been pretty good on Lanier. Here, I've had a lot of guys talking about it over the last couple of months. What about in the wintertime? Now, when she says spoon, we're not talking, I guess, the flutter spoon. We're going to talk that
like a jigging
spoon. Like a jigging spoon. That gets pretty popular during the winter on Lanier.
Yeah, but I mean, that's more kind of winter than really fall. It's probably more predominant the further up you go up there on the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about middle end of October.
Check out the Roach by Swamp Pro. Okay, absolutely.
That's that soft plastic that
is that
Dana's been
why
throwing.
You got that? Oh, you pulled it up because you saw that comment?
Yeah, that's that thing Dana Smith's been throwing. All you guys that follow SCP Fishing on YouTube, he's been throwing that little Roach.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet. But what about, how about in the fall? Will a flutter spoon still be effective, or we're going to kind of lose that going into the late fall?
I don't see why not. I mean, I haven't really thrown it much. I mean, the one thing that I will throw in the fall, and Harold Grizzle watching, he's about to kill me, but
I'll keep him off of it. Harold, don't mess with
Bandit 100, solid white.
Well, Bandit 100, yeah.
a little bit. It's a little bit crankbait. That little Bandit 100, a solid white one with a black dot on both sides of it. And it's a little bit crankbait, but
2 to
God
4
almighty,
feet.
that thing
Huh?
will
2 to
smoke
4
some.
feet.
2 to 4 feet.
Yeah, that thing will smoke some fish.
Somebody
on certain
said something up
days.
there in the comment section about square bill.
It's not really a square
It's
bill.
not, but
No, it's
but
not.
being a shallow runner like that,
Yeah.
will a square bill be just as effective? Or
I mean, I guess I think it's all about confidence in what you have. If you feel
That's
good
right.
about throwing a square bill, then throw square bill. To me, it's like I kind of like grind it around a little bit and kind of deflect off as much bottom
Right.
as I can, keeping bottom contact. I feel like when it comes to crankbait fishing, I get bit more if I'm maintaining bottom contact more.
I agree with that.
Than a square bill.
What
But
if-
if a square bill works, then throw it.
What about you on Allatoona? How much do you crank during the fall? And you said you don't fish in the winter.
No,
Them old bones, I get it.
no.
What?
They don't have a damn ramp that'll reach the water.
Yeah, that is a problem.
He has to drive around the other side of the lake now.
Yeah.
I was looking at that, Jason. I've wasted a lot of time trying to fish like Dana. He uses Jedi mind tricks or something. Listen, Dana keeps it simple.
He does.
If he's jigging, you what 3, boom, 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 and he reels down. And I've gone out there and I've tried that
You
crap.
throw a lure Jensen speed trap or anything?
Oh, what?
I don't
Lure
even know.
Jensen.
I don't know.
The hell is that?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a crankbait.
I don't even know what that
runs-
is.
It's probably about 2 to 2.5 inches long. Runs anywhere from 5 to 8 feet, depending on what size you get.
That sounds like a dag. Lure Jensen sounds though like a northern bait company. Is it?
Outside of the spring, outside of like February, like December through like March, like
You don't throw crankbaits.
I don't throw crankbaits like much. That
No.
I mean, I will in the fall like that.
It's good. work, baby.
It's good.
Jonathan Farmer and Dane Hunter, they absolutely. We had a club tournament last year, and they went to the back of Little River, and they just went round and around and around and around and around like all day long, and they caught the piss out of them on the little bitty. It's like that Bandit, but it's like a DD. It's from Spro, like DD45 or whatever it is.
Little bitty thing.
That little bit thing around
Little
like 5,
bitty
6 foot deep. They're
Yes.
just going round and around and around, just throwing this crankbait around. And they were about there. They were just wrecking on them. And they had like 14, 15 pounds, something like that. And they got like second that day. And
Yeah.
it was like in the middle of like right after the turnover had just got done. And it was
Yeah,
rough.
you saw that? Okay, I'm
What?
gonna ask you real quick. What kind of Lure Jensen crankbait was that again?
It's a speed trap.
Speed trap. You think Ron Swinford's over there like just
He
No,
said-
no,
he said, "Thornton,
shut up.
stop."
shut up, Thornton,
That's what I
stop.
got. I'm done.
He's done.
I'm done, Ron.
Now, Cody Campbell Fishing, appreciate you joining us tonight. I think that Rapala bought Lure Jensen and merged their product line with Storm,
Rapala did buy him.
but merged their product line with Storm.
Is it Rapala or Rapala?
That's a good question.
Rapala.
Hold on, Tim.
I think we
Tim,
said that
Tim,
before.
what is it?
Rapala.
Rapala.
It's Rapala.
That's what I call it. Rapala.
Why? Who said Yankees call it Rapala?
Oh,
I just watched the commercials and however they pronounce their product. I would-
Well, they're Yankees. It's Rapala. I've called it Rapala all my life. And that's
Tomato,
what we're gonna
tomato,
Stick
I
with
guess.
it, just like it's crappy, not crappie. I don't care what the Alabama guy says. It's
Unless you're in
crappie.
Florida and there's specs.
or there's sac-a-lait if you're from Louisiana or
I
something.
can't even
Cajuns-
say that.
them Cajuns get their way of saying it.
Parlez-vous et tentez.
Say that again.
Parlez-vous et tentez.
Parlez-vous-
Delto 3.
Parlez-vous,
Shoot 'em, Troy.
shoot 'em, Troy.
It's that Cajun speak.
Hey, we're gonna go to Louisiana.
First time I ever went to
To fish?
Louisiana was for work. And I went to Monroe, Louisiana, and we stopped in a gas station. And they were them two dudes was in there, and they were.
Freaking
And I
water
went up
boy.
there and I put my Mountain Dew in, and I said I need a can of Copenhagen long cut. And he said, "How you doing, boss?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "You were just speaking some foreign language, and all of a sudden you just speak English."
Clear.
But it was that Cajun
Cajun stuff.
Creole.
I know it.
But they were up there, dude leaning up on the counter like this, the other dude behind the counter, and I was like,
Did he have him a
I
Camel
was like, oh my
unfiltered
God,
hanging
I'm
out of his
talking to a
mouth?
gas station that nobody speaks English. They're speaking
Well, listen,
French.
that's not uncommon these days.
No,
If
not
we're
at
being
all.
But it
honest
really
with you.
did. It threw me off guard when I put my Mountain Dew and I asked for a can of Copenhagen.
He got
long
real
cut,
straight?
and he was like,
What's
turned
up,
around
boss?
and grabbed it. And he's like, "What else for you, boss?" And I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, I didn't expect that to come. That was wild.
We're gonna be filming in Louisiana. I can't wait to do that.
God,
I hope we get
hope
around
you
some
found
Cajuns.
I want you to find a real Cajun.
How about this?
Josh, go pull this back up one. I want y'all to find a real Cajun guy and make Danny eat like
I'll do it.
etouffee.
No, we're going to do that this
all
weekend.
that stuff that
This
they
weekend when we go to
cook.
Gunnersville, Dave Aldridge, he's going to cook jambalaya one night and crawfish etouffee the next night. That's what we're going to
There
film.
you go.
But here's a question off topic. Do you think Cajuns think we talk fast? Like if, people from other countries hear us speaking English and they think we're just flying. But do you think if I went up to like a true Cajun with the way I talk, you'd be going like, what?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I really don't
Anybody
know.
ever throw a jerk bait and drag it on the bottom? Hell, I'll get it hung. Nice alternative, at least for me, to a crankbait. My biggest fish have come from doing that. Maybe it's just my lake. It's pretty shallow.
I mean,
I don't want to put any
you
treble
can-
hooks near the bottom unless it's on a
you
rock
can crank-
crawler.
I mean, there's no rule against throwing a crankbait. Listen to me.
You got a
There's
smooth-
no rule of
smooth
throwing a
bottom.
jerk bait and just cranking it back.
If you got a smooth bottom, hell, I can't. How do you get it? Well, he says his lake's shallow. I'm sitting thinking like, well, we fish. I don't know if you can get a jerk bait on the bottom around here.
I mean, I could imagine like throwing like a Stacy 90 or something because the bill's really big, and it would probably deflect off some cover pretty decent, like that random stick or that random rock that's out there.
Yeah,
It'd
probably.
reflect off it pretty good. But
Dave, look, see, Dave's listening. Y'all get off my people. He's
Cedar-
from down
Cedar
yonder.
Creek tips. Oh my gosh,
What is that?
Cedar Creek.
Oh, that lake over
Is
in
that the
Gainesville?
one over there in Gainesville?
That is the god awfulest lake I've ever fished in my life.
That lake's got some big fish. in
It does,
It's
but
like-
I hate that.
Like I've only seen big fish like wade in at Cedar Creek.
What's
but
up,
like, they
Tony?
have like an 8-pounder. Like Wes Wilson, I think Wes Wilson caught like an 8 or 9 pounder on Alabama rig, and he threw that damn thing like all day long.
Yeah, it's for one
he had
bite.
he had like one bite. He had like 8 or 9 pounds,
It's like
and everybody else had like limits that weighed like 5.19.
that's what I was going to say. Everybody, that guy that wins that tournament comes in with 4 fish for 3.25 pounds, and then they got like a 10-pounder,
Yeah,
and they kick everybody's ass by like 8 pounds because everybody else has got 5 fish for 4.2.
yeah.
So I heard Justin Hamner talk about grinding a jerk bait into the bottom on flats in a bass use seminar.
All right,
Justin Hammer
that'd
can
be
do
very
it,
cool.
but you don't want Danny Pruitt throwing that. But yeah, Dave's from down that way. He's going to be cooking for us. You ready for that, Tim? Are you
I
ready?
can't wait. I'm gonna go home and start packing. Me and Farmer's already sorting out what boat and what time.
We
and
got a
all that.
guys trip this weekend, so yeah, y'all got the boat situation figured out.
We'll get it figured
You
out.
get it figured out.
They both
So
float and we can both fish. So we're good to go. And Dave's cooking, and that's the only thing.
that's all I'm going for is the food. Have you ever Carolina rigged a crankbait? I have not. You have. All right. Well, tell us
Yeah.
about it.
You just tie it on just 3 feet, 4 feet behind the
Well,
bait.
I know how you tie it on,
And
but
throw
I
it
mean,
on there.
does it work?
I never caught anything with it, but I've tried it. Yeah.
What kind of crankbait did you have on the back of it? Just out of
Hell, it
curiosity.
don't matter. You throw a Carolina rig, I think it's going to the bottom. Anyway.
How much? How
That
much weight?
crankbait-
How
that
much weight do you
crankbait's
have to
in
have?
water it ain't never seen before.
Man, I can't remember.
Well, yeah,
I
we
was so
dragging
long
a
ago.
Carolina rig with a crankbait on it up 45 foot of water.
The
That
crankbait is actually up here.
That
by the way.
crankbait ain't even meant to run that deep, and it's down there.
Hell, it's sitting upside down. It's swimming like this. Like, help me, help me.
You think the
can't
poor
remember.
crankbait will implode from the depth and water pressure it's not used to? Come
Yeah.
all
I will
cracked
say,
up.
I bet it would work.
I
though.
will say this: the guy
That
that
Will
isn't
Harkins has
here.
tried it.
Huh?
I'll have to ask Will Harkins because he likes the Carolina rig and crankbait. I'll ask
There
him.
you
He
go.
does a lot of different stuff.
Outside of Will Harkins, the only other guy that I know that you could probably ask that question to and get a straight answer for is from Harley Pruitt. But Harley Pruitt's also the only person I know that'll catch like a 4-pound spot, like on something. And then after he gets that thing in the boat and takes the hooks off up, puts it in the live well, then the next thing you know, you hear scissors.
Cutting his line.
And he cuts the bait off, and I think they want something a little bit different. I'm like, you just got a 4-pounder. What are you doing? And he paints beautiful baits.
I got his
So-
bills. They're on the website. I'm telling you, HP, those swimmers, dude, absolutely. Ron Swinford, of course, Ron's done this. I hung one of those rigs
No.
on tuna. That's okay. Here we go. That someone had broken off, pulled in a weight, and a storm wigglewort. There you go. There you go.
So somebody's tried it.
So
There's
Jonathan,
the Alabama boy right
That's
there.
what I was
Yeah,
gonna
he's-
say.
better
That's
listen to
another
what he
good bait,
said.
Ron. The
well,
Wigglewort.
that and then Jonathan McLean says y'all need to go to Pizza Ed's while in Gunnersville. Well, how about if you're down that way, you need to come visit us. So I don't know exactly where the hell we're going to be, but it's on Gunnersville. I will eat French cabbage. I guess, is that a Cajun thing?
I don't know.
That's a random comment.
Tom,
Is that like swamp
Tom
cabbage or
elaborate
something?
on French. I ain't never heard of cabbage.
Listen,
French
well,
cabbage.
that's the thing. It probably means something else.
It might.
With my luck,
It might.
1 ounce weight, 5 foot leader. Yeah, you got to have at least an ounce to get that crankbait down there.
He's asked that question twice.
Which one?
What bass clubs are all of us in?
I'm not.
Okay, so Tim, you fished the Monday nighters and stuff though, Monday, Tuesday nighters and some other stuff on.
I'm going to
Alabama.
Monday, Tuesday next year. for
That's
sure.
kind
Monday,
of a-
Tuesday,
If I
next.
can get
I
in
know that's
Tuesday.
like an open thing, but that's kind of more borderline like a club.
It's
type
pretty much
deal.
like the
It's
same
like an
guys
open
show.
club.
Same guys show up,
About
Yeah.
22, 23 years. Probably.
right? What
Yeah.
about you, Tim? You don't fish any.
I'm not much of a tournament guy. I'll go to charity events and stuff like that, but other than that, I just go
You
fish.
just show up when they got rose petals thrown at you. When
Right,
You walk
yeah.
up. And
Yeah,
you got a
absolutely.
walk up song.
Yeah.
How about that question? If you could pick a walk up song for you at a tournament, what would it be?
Oh my God.
What would your walk up song?
I don't know.
be?
I have to ponder on that one.
Ponder on that. We'll
Let's
come back
ponder
to
on
that. I fish electric only clubs. So right now I'm in electric bass opens, and next year I'm going to do that and Dahlonega John Boat Anglers.
Yeah.
So I like the electric stuff because number one, I suck, and number two, it makes me feel better, and I don't have to deal with big boats flying around and sailboats and cabin cruisers and stuff.
Yeah.
And you fish East Hall, and you were running Chestatee.
Yeah.
And then-
the East Hall Bass Club, it's been a bass club been running since like 1997. And then I run a club, Chestatee Bass Masters.
Yeah.
We fish Lanier and we break the lake up into 3 different sections. It's really fun.
I do like that idea.
Yeah.
I like how y'all
it's
do
really
that.
Fun.
I fish with Trent here. If you notice his
I
comment,
fished the Skunk Club. a
Skunk
good
Club,
bit.
yeah, proud member.
I do that. Now pull up Bassmaster Jim right above him because I'm trying to figure out what French cabbage is because he says Rocky Mountain oysters are better than French cabbage.
I'm a little scared now.
That's what I'm saying is I don't know exactly what French cabbage is, but right now I've got a feeling.
I'm scared. Let's go to the question.
I'm
above that
thinking
one.
something
Oh yeah, let's
along
go to
the-
a fishing question.
the
But you-
chitterling
I'm
line.
afraid to ponder Rocky
Can-
Mountain
well,
oysters
let me
and
ask you,
French
Tom,
cabbage.
Tom, can you kind of in the comment section tell us if there is a hidden meaning to French cabbage? Because
I think it's chitlins.
Don't
guarantee you.
Google those things. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna Google them
I'm
right now.
afraid
So
to.
go ahead and read that question from JPJ Fishing right there.
If you're looking for a big bite this time of year, are you looking to bebop around the main lake early or run the backs of creeks and pockets? I don't know. Let's all answer that.
I can't answer. I'm
because
looking up
everyone's got
French
their own
cabbage.
opinion. For me, first thing in the morning, I'm going to kind of go down some banks that go into pockets, and I'm not necessarily going like all the way like the ass end back of it. Like first thing, like I'm going to like pick a transition bank like that's close to the creek channel and kind of fish it and go down it and go down a certain distance, and that's what I'm going to try to fish. That's where the buzz baits, the spinner baits, and jerk baits and stuff come real well and handy for that. For me, at least, but most of the time it's buzz bait. I just want a couple of big bites in the morning. That's really what I like.
Did you
That's
catch
really
that
what I want.
7-pounder? What time of day did you catch that on Hartwell the other day?
That one was caught like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the other question is because I'm looking up French cabbage, so you can answer it next.
I'm about a half to 2/3 back inside a creek or a good sized pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would start and work my way from the front to the back of the creeks instead
I'd be
of
going
going to
buzz
the back.
baiters.
And plus, this time of year, you're going to have to do your homework and go out and look and hunt.
Yeah.
You can't just show up to the lake and go, "Oh, they're up here this time of year." No, you're going to have to go figure it out and then fish it.
Yeah. I will say this: if you want, I've said this a bunch of times, and some of y'all who've been watching this show for years probably heard me say this every time of year. I cannot stress to you enough how important this time of year it is to cover water. Don't get caught up fishing like 1 or 2 spots, like, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's 9:30.
Right? Yeah. Don't linger.
They'll let you know. They'll let you know pretty quick if they're there or not this time of year, especially shallow fish. It don't take very long to fish a pocket, fish a creek, and then you just pick up troll. Just don't be afraid to pick up troll and go, and don't be afraid to just go over to the next one. Don't go, oh, let's run all the way across the other side of the lake over here. You know, don't be afraid to go around the corner. You know, pick up and go.
What Tim needs to answer that question too, don't he?
He did.
He did answer it.
Yeah,
I did.
I was looking up French cabbage, and
as far as big fish and stuff like that,
Right.
I learned something deer hunting years ago. An old guy told me, he said, big bucks are where you find them. Big fish are where you find them. You got to go look. They're not just going to be on a tree all year round. They're going to move just like any other.
Okay, so we all eat Kentucky cabbage, but we'll eat French cabbage too. They say, toot sweet Mr. Tom.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, we're getting in deeper
Listen,
now.
Well, this is getting weirder by the minute. I like this guy.
I like it. Hell of a sense of humor. I Googled French cabbage, and it's just some nasty-ass looking cabbage. There are different types of French cabbage. I can't pronounce
Is it like kimchi? I like kimchi.
No, it ain't that kimchi. Is that crap Josh drinks?
No, kimchi.
kombucha.
Kimchi's Korean, and it's
I
hot.
don't even know. Kefir. Don't drink kefir. I'm telling you. Does anybody throw a Texas rig finesse worm anymore? And I will say around here, not as many as you would
Danny,
think.
why don't you elaborate on the difference in a Texas rig and a shaky head side by side?
Okay, so true story. So this is a true story. I mean, it ain't funny enough, but it's true. It's kind of, well, it sucked because I was getting my ass kicked. But me and Ryan were on Lanier, and we had the exact same worm with the exact same dip tail.
Is that a tournament?
No, I think you and I were just screwing around. We wouldn't have done this in a tournament. Remember, we were kind of.
Oh yeah, we were just messing around.
So we were mid-lake or so on Lanier or something like that.
We were way up Chestatee.
We were way up the Chestatee on Lanier.
You went in to tell the story.
Hell, he might as well. But he had a shaky. His was on a shaky head, and I had mine on a Texas rig. And I think it might have been because
same worm,
same dip, everything. And I think it was because Dana Smith throws Texas rig a lot. I think that's why I was trying to do it. Because Dana Smith throws Texas rig on Lanier like crazy. We were throwing in the exact same spots constantly. Ryan got bit. I never got bit. I would throw in a spot, and the SOB would throw in the very same spot.
He got so mad.
I was pissed.
He got so mad. I said, throw up there. And he threw it. I done caught like 2. And these weren't big fish. These were like 1.5 pound spots, but they were biting every damn cast.
That he threw.
I'm like, throw up there. And I'm like standing there and I'm like just holding my rod. And he throws up there and he works it all the way back to the boat. And I'm like, did you get a bite? And he's like, no. Open up the bell, throw it up there. I say, click. There he is. He's swimming. Look at him. He's swimming with it. He was literally threw in the same spot.
This went on for quite a while until I finally got pissed off and
you
put on shaky head. But so back to your question, it is not a predominant thing on a spotted bass Highland Reservoir. Can you catch fish on it? Yes. Were you pegging your Texas?
No, I don't think you were.
Oh no.
You was throwing a traditional
Texas rig. No,
quarter ounce bullet weight.
Bullet weight, old school, nothing fancy. But I'm serious when I say, like, he would throw in the exact same spot I just came out of. And then he would get a bite and say, throw it in there. And I would throw it in that. Never get bit. And he would turn right around, throw it in the exact same spot. Boom. So the spots, at least on that day, did not like it laying flat.
They didn't.
They didn't. Now, farm pond stuff, that's a little different. Danny, can you come out with a jig that is called Kefir? Can be green and brown with a hint of bed sheet white.
There you go. There you go. Dream that up.
Listen, I don't know how much green was in it, to be honest with you.
Dream that up, bad boy.
Yeah.
You can figure it out.
I'll tell you what. I will.
If you'll buy them, he'll make them. How about that? You can place your order.
Where's the jerkbait question?
Go back up. There was a jerkbait question. Because I'm particular about my jerkbaits this time.
Oh, here we go.
This time of year, rising or suspending jerkbait in what water level situation? For me, for jerkbaits, like I will reach for the jerkbait quicker, and I'll tell you what jerkbaits I actually like to throw here in just a second. But I will reach for jerkbait quicker in the fall on like a colder morning, and especially if there's like a lot more wind than there typically should be. Like we're talking like one of those mornings where it's like you get out there and it's like in the upper 40s and the wind is blowing. And it's like it's those highs, lows in the upper 40s and then highs like in the low 70s that day. You know, I'm talking about like October, mid-November before that kind of, yeah, exactly. I will reach for those jerk baits. I like to throw a jerk bait in the fall that doesn't have a ton of action to it. It doesn't have a crazy, side to side action to it. That's like real, where the ass end of it whips around real hard. My favorite one to throw is a mixed stick. I really like a mixed stick because it's pretty straightforward. It just does this. That's all it does. And then if I need to go a little bit deeper, then I really like to throw like a Stacy 90 or like the pointer from Lucky Craft. I like those pretty good. And if I really need to get really, really deep, you can't buy these anymore. But there have been some days where it needed to get really, really, and that is a Japanese kicker eater SP. And that's what it is.
It's a what?
It's the Evergreen Japan kicker eater SP.
But I like the way you said it. It's Japanese.
Well, it's Japanese because I say it's Japanese because the only thing on the packaging that's in English is Evergreen Japan and kicker eater. Everything else on the package is all pure Japanese.
You have to understand, I was answering a message right there, and all I hear is like Japanese kicker eater or whatever like that. So messed me up. My bad. I didn't mean to do that.
Funnel beds. That's that. Okay. Oh yes. All right. So if
the hell's a funnel bed?
Like a place for like water, like a kind of like a waterfall, but anyway, like fresh water, kind of like flow into.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I assume that's what he's meaning by that. But water runoff in the fall is like real. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Because we're supposed to have a lot of rain in the fall.
Yeah, we're typically supposed to have a lot of rain in the fall. But like places where water runs into the lake and stuff like down and whatnot, it's those places on certain days with certain conditions with how much water's coming in. You can find a spot where it's like there's no telling how many hanging around.
Yeah,
and they'll be everywhere from this big to this big, and it's like putting your hand in a cookie jar. You never know what you're going to pull out on some of those places. There used to be a really good one on Lanier, and it doesn't exist anymore. And that's an Ada Creek, Ada Creek waterfall, and now they got a road and a dam built over it, and it used to be so good.
That sucks.
Yeah, it used to be really, really
good. I see him right there. So Mr. Underwood makes an appearance. Danny, the next time I invite you to go fishing. So basically he's calling me out. Listen, the guy calls me up this morning or sends me a text. He goes, call in sick. Let's go fishing. And I'm like, I can't. Store's going to be closed tomorrow. We're going to Gunnersville.
Sick. Are you going to call in sick?
Yeah. He's like, let's go fishing.
I don't work here anymore.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't go, And then I proceed to watch him on Facebook just waxing their ass all day. But now he was texting me during that, sending me pictures and all that, even during his daggum thing. And I'm like, dude, it was stupid today on the water, though.
Why can you go? You own the place.
Yeah, and if I don't make no money, I go broke.
I'm about to say, he ain't gonna make no money.
He ain't gonna make no money. Josh was in Chattanooga, and I'm gonna be fishing all weekend. So I was like, Miss Pruitt would like
brag a little bit. Now you can't.
Had I gone fishing with Kevin Underwood, we probably wouldn't have caught nothing. I'm bad mojo on that, but he did. Kevin, you had a hell of a day, and I think you got the camera kind of figured out and all that, and dude was waxing them. So I guess I would suggest you guys to go back because it'll be on his page. I guess you can rewatch a live. Can you rewatch a live on Facebook?
I think so. As long as
you can on Facebook.
Days.
Yeah.
Okay, so go back and watch it when you get some free time. My wife surprised me with a trip with Kevin for my birthday. I can't wait for the October trip.
You're going to have a ball,
Tony. Let me know what day you're coming up, because you're always a good viewer of the show, and of course on TikTok and everything. I want to come over to Lanier and meet you and just talk to you. So
if you want to learn, Kevin, he puts so much work into things. He stays on top of everything that's going on. If you want to learn, he's the guy to go with.
I agree.
I mean, hands down. I mean, he really is. He ain't blowing smoke up his ass.
But listen, though,
he's
got to cover up them ugly ass feet, though. He was barefooted all day, and he's got these tan lines.
Exactly.
He got a new hat, individual.
Huh?
He got a new hat.
He got a new hat. I got him one coming. That's Fish North Georgia hat with lipstick or colors. It's coming.
I remember. You know how big Kevin is.
Yeah,
it was mind blowing to me. Like 5 years ago,
he was
when I first got to know him, he was like doing like
Triathlon.
Yeah, dude, I was doing triathlon.
He did. He was triathlon.
Me and the wife, she's doing the swimming ones and stuff, And I was like,
but
you?
Yeah, I know.
I was like trying to put. I was like, I love you, Kevin, but it was just funny to me. He was
October 2nd.
Yeah, I got trained for I had to train for triathlons when I worked at Kubota.
But listen, Kevin, buy you some shoes, dude, because you got those tan lines. I ain't saying your feet's ugly; it's just them tan lines, man. It's glowing.
He is like Emil Wagner too. That's the one
all
trait
he
that
wears.
him and Emil have. They wear flip flops like way too long. Like they're wearing flip flops in like November.
Hell, it probably in the snow. In the snow, they can do it.
I'll never forget the first time I saw. Like Emil put a picture up like 2 years ago, and it was like December. He had flip flops on. He had his whole suit on.
That's the way that tactical bassin guy does.
He had the flip flops on. I was like, damn, Emil.
You know what? Because his ass is from California, and he would do it. But he would be somewhere like when they moved up here.
Yeah, he's a dude. I got medals from that.
I know it.
Oh yeah.
Next time he comes on the show, I want him to. He needs to bring his triathlon medals. I want him to wear them around his neck.
All right, so Kevin, that is it. Next time you come on the show, you got to bring your medal. So,
yeah.
All right, guys, look, hey, we're hour and 50 in. It's flown by.
It has
but
flown by.
If you got any more questions for Ryan or any of the guys, get them in real quick because Tim and I got to go home and start packing. Yeah. And Ryan's got to get up and go to work tomorrow. So, but seriously, if you got any more questions, let's hit them. Can't wait to meet you, dude. Seriously, trust me, if it's closer, I'd be there every Thursday. And listen, guys, anytime you guys are in the area on a Tuesday or Thursday, make sure we're doing a show, number one. But you're always welcome to come hang out with us. And it's actually really fun. The first, the hour before the show and the hour after the show.
I got to get up and go to work tomorrow, too. No, I don't.
You ain't worked in like, how many decades has it been since you held a real job?
A decade.
10
years.
So that's right. You're 72. So you worked till you were 62, got all that Publix money and retired.
I retired.
Man, I'm happy for you. I'm really happy because you're living the life, and look who you get to hang out with.
I was 46 years with Publix. That's
46 years.
Job.
Yeah, that's like the Chipper Jones of Publix. You're like the Chipper Jones of Publix, man. You don't like Chipper? Oh. What?
Nothing.
Oh, did you already got a job for tomorrow?
No.
We're supposed to do our one song, too, coming in.
What? Oh, that's right. Let's do that. Let's end the show with this. All right. If you could pick and you guys in the comment sections, Kitech micro football jig. No, I have not.
Never thrown it.
No. All right. You guys in the comment section. It'd be a good way in the show. If you could have a walk-up song to a weigh-in at a tournament, this is the last day of the Bassmaster Classic, and you get to walk up with your bag. You get whatever song that you want to playing. What would your song be? Now, Tim, I asked you that question about 28 minutes ago. Have you figured it out?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's A Long Way to the Top by AC/DC.
Got him.
Look at him.
No, I got the same group. That's why I said that.
You were going to do AC/DC?
Yeah, I was going to do Thunderstruck.
I think that should be like
You would do AC/DC?
Yeah.
I think that should be like in some form or fashion. A Long Way to the Top is probably every tournament fisherman's song at some point in their life, like multiple times. Because like sometimes it's like you fish and you're like, wow, we finished 19th out of 21. It's a long way to the top.
As long as you can look at the first page and see your name and not have to scroll, you're doing good.
Like I've been there. It's like I've come back to the weigh-in. I'm like, shit, we got like 1062. And then we like look at it. We're like,
so of course,
we made all the wrong decisions today.
You got Inner Sandman, Billy Squire, the stroke from Kevin.
God.
Now listen, can we ask a question? Has anybody ever figured out what that song's about?
What?
Stroke. Listen to the lyrics.
I don't know.
That's kind of got some sketchy vibes to it.
I saw a TikTok of a video the other day of a book that's actually a legit book series that said, "Will someone eat my cookie?" And there was this woman walking around with a cookie in this book. And
what
she was like, "Will you eat my cookie?" And I was like,
what does that got to do with anything?
I don't know. It's just talking about the hidden meanings behind things. It's like with the stroke.
Oh,
know.
hey, listen. Okay, so Richie Rock and Roll, yeah, man. And for those of you know,
Lip gloss.
unexpectedly lost his wife, and we kind of threw the name out. And listen, don't thank us. It's all the people that donated. So his goal was met. Listen, we love you too, dude, and hate the situation that you're in. But if you need anything from us over here, dude, you always get in touch with us for sure. But I appreciate everybody that gave for that, and I hated that was the situation. And I hope some of the people on the group page gave you some suggestions for you and your daughter and all that. And I hope you're taking advantage of all that. So, sorry, dude, man. I hate it. I hate that. Now, why are you laughing?
I just was thinking.
Are you thinking about your song?
Yeah.
What's your song?
This is just Kayla Doyle, Walt Doyle's wife. She just made me like if I was an elite, if I could fish the elites for one time, they all have walkout songs. I would really like be really tempted just to be funny, because I know I'd probably suck most of the tournament, especially when they go to Florida, because I'd probably like catch 10 pounds each day in Florida. But I would walk up like stilettos, pumps, in the club. You know that song?
No.
Oh my God.
He's got the legs for it.
He ain't got the ass for pumps.
No.
So
Kayla Doyle.
he ain't got the ass for anything high heels.
Know what it is, but it's called stilettos.
Lip Gloss would be my song. What's that song? I don't know Lip Gloss. I'm old. I'm still stuck in the 80s. But what is Lip Gloss?
It's a rap song.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Now everybody's gonna think I'm gonna pick a Van Halen song.
Yeah, you probably are.
I'm
so
not.
Don't lie.
I am not.
No, you lying already.
Oh my God!
I'm not-
Everyone,
listen, it would
everyone,
be a Van
get
Halen
quiet
song.
here.
It would be a Van Halen
Hold
song.
on, before you say what you say, remember you made a public apology at the beginning of this, so
Right.
don't have to make you.
I'm not going to apologize for the
People
song.
said you were a great man and stuff for manning up, and don't lie to these good 93 people that are watching that you are not going to pick a Van Halen. If push come to shove, you're walking up to Amsterdam or something.
I
like
love that song. Do you know that I've already told my family that there will be Van Halen played at my funeral? Yeah, there's going to be no sad
Be
songs.
walking around to Danny's casket and whoa, 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 whoa.
That-
Amsterdam.
I love that song.
That's what it's
I listened to
gonna
it about 4 times today. No, actually, the song, though, if I wanted to really pump up a crowd and all that, I think it'd be Metallica, Seek and Destroy.
No.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. That's
The Unchained's a good one.
Danny Pruitt. Danny be like, yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, I would probably pick an old Van Halen song. I probably would.
I know you probably would.
Actually,
Don't
would
even lie
that
about
actually
it.
would be Standing on Top of the World.
What would Kevin do?
he said he said
Metallica.
Oh, Metallica.
I
which
mean,
shocked me
AC/DC.
because I thought he'd pull out some Roy Clark or something.
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
was thinking something like Glenn
Glenn Campbell?
No,
I'm
yeah.
just a lineman of the county.
No.
And I drive the main load.
I don't know what that-
I see Kevin walking up there, putting my name up in the lights. I'm playing.
Listen,
Who is that?
I'm not saying you were a rocker.
I'm gonna tell you, and I don't mind. I'm an average fisherman.
Yeah.
But you know what an average fisherman is? I'm as close to the top as I am the bottom.
That's true. I get
So
that.
just
That's
remember that.
no. Listen, I'm not going to question your fishing abilities. I just didn't expect you to go with AC/DC.
I listen to them.
You are one of maybe 5 70-year-olds in the state of Georgia, though, that listen to AC/DC,
Oh,
which
no,
I
no.
like it. I love it. I love it.
97.1 The River's been around for a hot minute, and I feel like some of the group that started listening to 97.1 River are now in their late 70s, and they're exposed to AC/DC.
They're exposed to AC/DC.
I
on a
do
regular
listen to
basis.
Did you
97.1.
Did you listen to them back in the day? Like back?
No.
So
I
this
did
is
not.
you're a late bloomer
Yes.
to the rock world.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's why it shocked me a little
Not
bit.
really late. I listened to Foreigner back then, Grand Funk Railroad. Who else?
Driving and Crying, Blackfoot.
Yeah. I listened to those back in after high school days. 72, 73.
That's when I was born in high school days. So yeah, I like that. Listen, I mean, but
It'd be hard not to pick a Jimmy Buffett song though,
No, it
like
wouldn't.
Cheeseburger. in
Good
Paradise
pick.
or something.
Good, Bon Scott, AC/DC. That's like saying that's like David Lee Roth Van Halen or Sammy Hagar Van Halen. So Bon Scott, AC/DC.
It'd be okay.
It'd be
I still
okay.
like my Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck does have.
Or Highway to Hell would be good too.
You can't do Highway to Hell coming up to a fishing weigh-in.
Well, you asked me what song.
But
Now you're putting limitations.
yeah, but I'm just saying, why would you go Highway to Hell to a weigh-in?
Why not?
Thunderstruck, I get. Why would you like that?
You see Kevin. You
Because
see.
the
You
amount of
see
fish I'd
Kevin.
probably be bringing in.
Did you see Kevin going up there like in front of Bassmaster with Dave Mercer?
I'm on the highway.
And he puts that bag in that scale. Kevin Thornton.
And all of a sudden he goes,
I'm on the highway to hell.
I
Going
don't
home
see
without
you.
a check.
I
And
don't
then-
see you as the highway to hell kind
Dave
of guy.
Mercer.
Look at-
11 pounds, 9 ounces today for Kevin Thornton.
He's on the highway to hell. Do good tomorrow. Like, yeah, no.
Tough day for you today, Kevin.
It sure was. It was like yesterday and the day before.
And the day before. You know what would be, though, honestly, the best groove to walk up to? Because it makes me dance every time I hear it in the shop.
What?
Superstitious by Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah.
That, you know, I can't even do it.
It'd be hard. That'd be hard to walk
No.
up to.
Huh?
Walk up with superstition while eating a banana.
The Game by Motorhead.
No.
Oh, my Motorhead's a little too hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm down with
Time
that.
to play
Yeah.
the game.
Time to play the game.
That new TikTok filter. It's time to play the game. You ain't seen that one yet.
Now, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by Drowning Pool. That's a good one. I would say Avenged Sevenfold. Nightmare would be a good one. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there, but it's
John
fun.
the Fisherman by Primus. If your name was John.
Somebody just earned even more cool points there, Kevin. So there you go. So,
There
yeah,
you
hey,
go.
listen, we like it.
Jonathan Farmer, he said something, a couple of them. Jonathan Farmer just needs to walk up to Trace Adkins because he looks just like Trace Adkins.
You think he looks like Trace Atkins?
Hell yes, he does.
Could you see Jonathan with like long hair like Trace Atkins?
Well, Trace Atkins don't really have like long hair anymore.
But
Have you
but
seen
when
him
he
lately?
did, but when he did. No, not lately. How they all get old and shave their heads.
I don't know. John. Every time I just see something, I just think, what in the Fanning County is that? This is
Yeah,
Jonathan Farmer.
Taylor, listen, Taylor Swift.
Blank space.
Nope.
Teardrops on my guitar would probably be me if I zeroed.
What about people literally throwing a cube with skirt strands? Fight Club.
Oh,
We can't talk about Fight Club, ain't that right there, Tim?
is that what that is?
What in the world are you talking about,
We
sir?
can't talk about Fight Club.
Let me look at this question again. I'll get back with you.
You get back at that.
I want to say one thing before we quit.
You
'Cause
say
I don't
what?
know when the next time I'll be on.
Wrecking ball.
Wrecking
I
ball.
came in like a wrecking ball.
There you
That's a
go.
pretty good one.
Blank space, baby.
All right, say your serious piece because you want to say something.
If you was gonna take any advice from me for fishing in the fall,
Oh, he's getting back.
in all seriousness, downsize your bait.
Downsize your bait.
Downsize your baits. You
That's
know,
right.
downsize. They just
Y'all can call it
guys.
the
They
Pruitt.
just typically the majority of the bass just kind of typically feed on smaller bait for
I
about
agree
6
with
to 8
that.
week period. And if you really want to just have some success, you don't worry about trying to catch a giant or anything by no means. If you just want to go out there and have some success and go out there and have a productive day fishing, downsize your baits. Give us the baits of the month again.
We need to start doing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should start doing that.
But get you a buzz bait and go throw it.
A
Get you
quarter
a
ounce one.
quarter ounce B2B buzz bait or whatever you like to throw. Doesn't matter. Just get you a quarter ounce buzz bait with some small blade on it, small blades, and just go chunk it.
Now,
You'll be surprised.
after you've caught your 5 fish with your downside baits, you go into a jig.
He's in a tournament.
Sometimes it kind of depends upon situations. Like if it's colder, like if it's a colder fall day, one of my favorite things to do is kind of go pick up a jerk bait and just go point hop. Don't even worry about just fish the front sides of wind blown points. Specifically the front sides where the wind's blowing across it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have the boat, you're going to have your wind, you're going to have the wind to your back, and you're going to throw it with the wind, and you're going to bring it through the wind, and you're going to jerk the bait. That sometimes you need to swap it, and that's hard to do. That's when a spinning rod really comes in handy with the jerk bait. But them fish will sit right here where that wind's blowing across and it's pushing that water, and they'll sit because they're ready to ambush something. And that jerk bait comes across there. They'll more times than not, they'll try to get it.
Yeah.
And they'll typically be some good fish because them fish that are up there, they'll eat a jerk bait on a colder, windy, cloudy day. they're typically better fish.
All right, Carson, we got a couple more serious questions. Let's go ahead and answer them. Would you stick to a 5-inch worm for shaky heads too this time of year? We fished fulls. I mean, we were throwing, well, this time of year, but as it got on towards the winter, if you throw a shaky, we were throwing like full-size trick worms.
Wow, I mean, the trick worm is like my favorite shaky
head bait.
Period, just to throw. I mean, just because I've caught thousands of fish on.
Would you downsize though this time of year on a shaky head? I don't know that I would.
I'm not the authority to really answer that question. There's somebody who's probably knows way more about it than I do.
Yeah.
Because I don't really pick up a worm this time of year.
That's true.
I don't really think about picking up a worm until like December. You know, like late November.
But
December.
but in December now that we were throwing full size.
Oh yeah, I mean
it's
either a Zoom trick worm or a Senko.
How do you
it's either one of those two.
How do you avoid casting at catfish in the fall on the Garmin Spotlight?
Ooh.
That's a tough one, dude.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the fall with cat. Last year in November, it was October. Last year I caught like a 4-foot long gar. And I would have swore to you when I saw it. I was like, that's a big fish. And I threw at it, and it ate a dang.
Well, it was a big fish.
It ate a dang Seville.
Really?
And I was just like, shit.
I don't know how to do
I
that.
gotta get this thing out of his mouth.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I didn't want it to take it. But it's hard with the catfish in the fall because, like, this is the time of the year getting into the fall where, like, you'll pull in the back of a pocket or something like that, like on a sunny day. And, like, you'll look up there, like, underneath this dock, and there'll be, like, 50 catfish underneath it. And they're just swimming around. I've seen it multiple times.
Can you tell they're catfish?
Oh yeah, I mean,
you can tell when you look
there's
at
not everything
you're talking.
in the lake
You're
is this
talking.
big.
Okay. Well, when you see that many, I didn't under a dock.
Yeah,
that's
but
what
like
I'm talking
swimming
about.
around.
They're
But,
like submarines up on there.
Yeah, jigs
Yeah.
are hard to beat in the fall around laydowns and shallower wood. And you mentioned those. You know, y'all have heard Ryan talk about the buzz bait and all that a lot. Ryan used to do our monthly box for us, and now since he's got a real job, Jonathan Farmer has been doing them for us. And on this past months, it had a Seville style bait, and it also had a buzz bait in it, along with some other stuff. So they were in there like that. So
yeah, we did. Oh yeah,
yeah. So
we stroked them back in November last year. Me and Farmer did.
Yeah,
we absolutely put a whooping on them.
It was so.
And that was so fun. We just flip a jig right up there on the end of the blowdown in like 4 foot of water, and they just swim off it.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I knew
that was fun.
I know him too well.
Fun. I caught a striper on a mini me in the very back of Little River, and it was like 30 pounds, and it broke 17-pound fluorocarbon off. I could not stop that thing.
Did you see it on your forward facing, or did you just make it?
No, we were just back there going back, and me and Farmer was like, there got to be something back here. There was so much gizzard shad.
Have you got a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
Lip sticker. Can you explain the thermocline? I'm not too knowledgeable on that, so I'll let Ryan give you a quick hit on it real quick. In case Kevin,
you need to just get Kevin to come in here and do a show on that. On
thermocline, he knows it. He does it.
He's really
basically
good at it.
it's where they set
That
up.
thermocline will tell you where to go and where not to go. I assure
So
you.
above the thermocline, oxygen at this time here, below the thermocline, not
There's
as
not
much.
hardly any oxygen.
Fish are going to be thermocline or above, and then when the lake turns over, when the equilibrium, as I'm sure Kevin will say, when the water temps get very similar or whatever it is, destratified, it flips. The bottom water comes to the top. That's your turnover, and then there is no more thermocline for the foreseeable future till you get back towards the summer.
Yeah, there's one too. Me and Farmer and Danny sat down in the basement down here, and we talked. We went real in depth about
and Kevin talked about it when he was on one time.
Yeah, and we did one with Kevin too. That was just me and Kevin one Thursday night. And go back and go watch those. Those are some really, really, really good couple ones. Me and Farmer really get pretty deep into the fishing when you fish in an area. The entire lake that you're fishing pretty much is in the middle of the turnover. And it's just everywhere you look, the water is just nasty brown looking.
Stinks a little bit.
And it's just
smells sour.
What to do. And
sour is a good word for it.
Oh yeah, it'll smell just sour.
It brings all the crap off the bottom.
But as soon as that's over, the best thing to do is then follow the thermocline. So if like on the upper end of the lake flips over and it gets done flipping, start on the upper end of your lake and then just follow it. Work your way down the lake. And as you walk your way all the way down the water, it will continue staying behind it.
Right.
And when there's something about when the turnover is done and the lake and the section of the lake is totally done flipping and it's done, like everything wakes up.
Yeah, that's the time to
And
hit that.
you can catch them a lot of different ways. You can catch them a lot of different ways. You can still throw top water. You can throw spinner baits. It doesn't matter what, jerk baits, crankbaits. It don't matter what you do. There's fish to be caught the way that you want to catch them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And so Tony says over in East Alabama, I saw a back of a creek already starting to turn last week. Bubbles everywhere. That's a telltale sign. And guys have already been kind of reporting that it's happening on up to Chestatee.
Yeah.
On Lanier. So
my last YouTube video that I did, I actually show the graph where the thermocline is, show a ledge with fish on it, and then catch them.
Well, how about you give out that link or where we can find that video for those wanting to know?
T_McGuire Outdoors on YouTube.
That's MCGUR.
MCGUIRE.
There we go, like that. All right, guys, I've kept these guys long enough. You guys have been great. Had a great crowd tonight. Had a little bit of fun. A lot of knowledge dropped. So appreciate Ryan coming up, Tim and Kevin and all that. We had a good time. And seriously, even like what I said before at the very beginning of the show, we didn't realize the reach that we actually have with this show. It's kind of humbling, but the reason we do is because of guys like you watching and guys like Ryan coming in to, share their knowledge and all that. So this, for those of you in the area, the store is going to be closed this weekend because we're going to be in Gunnersville filming for the Real American Road Trip. And then also next week, we will have a show on Tuesday, but there will not be a Thursday night show because my son's getting married. And next Thursday night, I have wedding rehearsal of a wedding that I'm not even in. I just got to walk down and sit down with my wife, but we got to do that stuff.
You're not best man.
Hell no, I'm not best man.
Man.
And I love it. I ain't got to do nothing. All I got to do is feed everybody at the rehearsal dinner. So anyway, put your T. McGuire out there. Hey, appreciate it. I'm just congrats. Yeah. 23 years old. He's got a house and getting married. So remember, warm water cooling creates current waterfalls. We can't see the cloud like currents. Yeah, that makes sense. So appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. If you're going to be on the water this weekend, be safe. Spend some time with your family. We're out here. Appreciate you guys.